You know how I always talk to people, I'm always saying, like, don't get excited. Don't get excited for things. You'll just be let down if you get super pre-excited for a thing and preload it and then put the countdown timer on your TV until it unlocks.
I thought you used to only say don't piss on the electric fence.
No, that was somebody else.
Okay.
I don't know who that was, but yeah. It's 4 hours and 37 minutes until Elden Ring unlocks. This is the last podcast before the sea change of Elden Ring being a thing in the world.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
It's taunting him.
I can't. I can't.
Yeah, I came in and the countdown was on the television. And I was like, why are you doing this to yourself?
Because now is the time. I didn't get excited for 4 years, but like in the last 12 hours, I've gotten excited. I couldn't sleep last night. It was like Christmas. I was in my bed like, can I get up and get my presents now? Michael, Elden Ring unlocks at 11 p.m. Central Time on consoles.
Yes.
But it's unlocked right now. It unlocks at 5 p.m. on Steam, and I honestly thought about buying a second copy. But then I was like, no, I have to do the Rage Select podcast, god damn it.
You do, yes.
Here on Rage Select with me, Jeff.
And I'm Mike. And if we didn't do it, you wouldn't have time to play it on the weekend.
Why? Why did I choose this life? Why couldn't I have just been like a plumber or something and then like just been like, I'm taking the day off to play Elden Ring and
You still could have technically done that.
I guess.
But we're already recording is the thing.
I guess. It's too late now. All my plans have been dashed.
Well, it doesn't matter either way. It's not like it was been unlocked while we were doing this now.
Yeah.
You would have had to have paid for that second copy.
That's true. But I would do it.
So we're saving you money.
I think I bought Dark Souls 3 off the Japanese Xbox store because it unlocked like a week early.
You did tell me that, yeah.
Than the American version.
We did technically do that with that one other game that we played.
Oh yeah.
I forgot was it Fatal Frame?
Well, we did Fatal Frame.
I forgot the name of it and that it was in Europe apparently.
We also did the like Super Robot Wars through the VPN or whatever to get that. So, anywho, all right. I'm not going to talk about Elden Ring except for a lot. So
yes,
you guys can look forward to that. Except just, and when this comes out, you should know that tomorrow we're not putting the videos out till tomorrow. Somebody was chiding me like on Monday for putting up Horizon Zero Dawn in the YouTube comments. They were just like, "You're too late." And I was like, "The game's been out for like 3 days, man." Like,
yeah, that's not how this works.
We've never done it like day and date. We've never turned it around on like the same day. But
yeah, no, the only people who do that get the game early. And we're not those people.
Yeah. What do I look like? A live streamer? I'm not a live streamer.
Yeah, we're not one of those Artix people or whatever they're called.
Yeah. What? Artix?
I'm just making fun of RTX.
Oh, okay.
The Artix.
Yeah, so in spite of the fact that Elden Ring is coming out, we actually have a bunch of news this week. But before we get there,
Tons.
I would like to talk about the Cuphead show.
Yes, let's talk about Cuphead.
I really liked the Cuphead show. It was like I like how simple and goofy and like a kid's show it is. It's like a Looney Tunes.
It's very much a good show.
And it's just like the episodes are like 15 minutes long, but once you skip the end credits and the beginning credits, they're more like 10 minutes long.
Yeah, because the intro's like a minute long.
Yeah.
And so is the end credits like 2 or 3 minutes. You're like, this is a 10-minute thing.
Yeah, I realized that I just been like, as soon as the end credits came up, I hit like next, and then I was going through my Netflix today, and I was like, there's like a sixth of a unplayed movie on every one of these episodes of the Cuphead show, and I started doing the math, and I was like, yeah, these things are like 10 minutes long.
Yeah, it's the same thing that happened with like WandaVision and stuff. You're like, oh, this thing's like an hour. And then it's like, oh, 15 minutes of that is just different language credits.
Yes, exactly. But no, I really like it. I really like the characters. I really like their kind of goofy plots. I like the fact that it's not just like, it's not just all shooty bang bang. Like,
yeah, it's not an action cartoon.
Yeah,
it's not Castlevania,
right?
It's not a Castlevania adaptation kind of version.
Like, there's just this one episode where the elder Kettle overhears the brothers talking about like, oh, he's old and he's dirty and we got to bury him in the backyard, and he thinks it's him, and it's like not him, and it's like the most basic juvenile plot of all time.
Some of them were really fun. Some of them I had some issues with only because it was like I've seen this done better in Looney Tunes.
Yeah,
like the baby bottle one.
Yeah,
like I was like
the second one, right?
That's like the second one. I'm like, this is fine, but like I've seen this done a lot better with these same jokes, almost literally on different cartoons. Like, and that's the thing is that the show is gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's really like the best animated things I've seen like ever. Like it does all these great things that the Fleischer cartoons used to do with like it has like that cemetery episode with that model that they use for the background.
Yes.
It's just fucking like it's a chef's
just out of
kiss.
nowhere.
It's amazing. Chef's kiss kind of thing. And there's some episodes that are just fucking amazing. Specifically the King Dice episode. That episode had me fucking dying.
The only I think any of the ones that had the devil in them that were great. The devil's so good.
The devil ones are so funny.
But I don't know. I really enjoyed like the interplay between Cupman and Cuphead and Mugman and their whole thing. The only thing is like it's weird from an animation perspective because I fucking went to school for that shit. One, I wish the lines were thicker. The black lines around the edges of them were thicker because it's a little bit telling that it kind of breaks the illusion a little bit that they're so thin because that's more like what they are nowadays as opposed to the way they used to be.
Like there's a filter over it to try to make it look like an older cartoon.
Yeah.
Even has some film scratch type stuff going on it, which is kind of interesting.
And then the other thing is that I was watching it and I mean I don't know, skip forward 2 minutes if you don't want like information about animation that may ruin your enjoyment of a thing. But like I could tell that like 60% of the people that worked on that show spent a lot of time and effort making sure that it looked like an old cartoon. And then like 40% of the people that worked on that show just animated it like a modern cartoon.
Yeah.
Because there was like plenty of shots where it was just like, this looks exactly like a cartoon from this era would look. And then suddenly there would be like a camera angle or a movement style or something that was like, that's modern. Like you can tell that it's computer assisted.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was just me because I spent 6 years with my head bent over a piece of paper drawing animated cells.
It's the thing you really notice if you really stare at it kind of thing. It's like the fluid motions are too fluid kind of thing. Like, because especially as I've binged a lot of these old cartoons for years, your brain's just like, there's something just off about this whole thing.
Yeah, like I kind of wish that they just dropped half the frames from the show, that they just lowered the frame rate to like... because it's what there's when you're in animation class, there are two types of animating on the ones and animating on the twos. And so animating on the twos is what most cartoons from that time period would do, or sometimes even the threes, where you would have the same image for 2 frames and then you would go to the next one and it would be 2 frames, and it gives it a little bit more of a filmic quality because it looks more like a lower frame rate camera, like shutter speed on a camera, whereas this looked like it was all animated on the ones, which is every single frame it moves, which is more like what used to differentiate the fluid motion, I think, of like Disney cartoons versus like if you look at the Flintstones and they're just a little bit more jerky, right? So I kind of wish that they had done, I feel like with just a little bit of tweaking, they could have made that show look a little bit closer to the actual game. But that's the only complaint I have, and that is a minor complaint because the actual content of the show was wonderful.
Yeah, the content, like for me, hits or misses. If for anybody who hasn't seen it, if I had to compare it to anything, it would be the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Okay.
Which is the reason I say that's not because I mean like it's terrible or something, because that show's not that great. It's the fact that like if you're watching it and being like, I love the lore of Cuphead for some reason, which like it has a decent story kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, Amanda was telling me that people are mad because it didn't go into the lore of Cuphead more or something.
Yeah, because people want a straight adaptation. They want the action like fighting bosses kind of thing.
Pew pew with my finger guns.
Whereas like this is more like that show, like because the Super Mario Super Show, it had the bosses, but they were never like. It was never like the end game, like I'm gonna beat the shit out of you kind of thing. It was more just like we're going to get this cake, and oh no, Bowser like poisoned the batter or some stupid thing,
right?
And then just in a comedy of errors, Bowser eats the cake or something like that.
Yeah.
It's more like that than it is like a straight adaptation of any of the bosses. For instance, like my favorite one besides the King Dice one. of the uses of the bosses was the frogs,
The Frog Brothers,
the brother
yeah.
frogs. I thought that episode was really funny.
Yeah.
But it's never like they're never really fighting the frogs. They're just sort of like
They fight each other more than they fight any of the things.
which does make it really funny, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
I love how every time they're like something goes wrong, they're like, "You blaming me? Well, why wouldn't I?" And then just start punching the shit out of each other. I'm like,
Yeah.
I love this a lot. But and also it has the actual more use of Miss Chalice, because Miss Chalice hasn't come out in her own DLC yet.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so if you it's also
she's
ends
only
on
in
a
one
cliffhanger.
episode. She's only in one episode.
She's in the one episode and ends on a cliffhanger.
And it's a cliffhanger. Yeah.
So yeah, but they've already been renewed for like another 2 seasons apparently.
Good.
So there's supposed to be like 36 episodes.
I mean, when I was on Netflix looking around, I think I mentioned this in passing to you, but I couldn't remember what it was. But I was like, "Oh, look, Cuphead came out," and I was like, "What else is on the new to Netflix?" I'm like, Space Force. There's a season 2 of Space Force.
That's right. There's a season 2 of
And,
Space Force.
If there could be a season 2 of Space Force, then I need at least 6 seasons of Cuphead, because it was way more enjoyable and super fast to watch, and I'm way more into Cuphead than I am into fucking Space Force.
I'll never understand Netflix's like ideas of what should be renewed and what shouldn't, because
Yeah.
it makes no fucking sense to me.
So yeah, I love Cuphead. Also, that Severance show on Apple TV is good. It's right up my alley.
Was that
but
out already? I keep seeing trailers for it.
Two episodes are out, and then it's coming out weekly. But
Okay, I want to watch that. It looks really good.
is there anything you got to see or play last week that you want to talk about before we jump into the news?
I watched the Uncharted movie.
Do you want to talk about the Uncharted movie a little bit?
Sure. So the Uncharted movie is a movie about a bunch of people who are horribly miscasted. And it's the most mediocre Indiana Jones film you'll ever see in your life.
Okay.
Also, there's a giant fight scene at Papa John's. Or not giant, but there's a long fight scene at Papa John's. So if you love product placement, this movie you're going to love the shit out of this movie.
Great.
Nolan North has a great cameo in it.
Okay.
They only play Drake's theme twice in the entire movie. The rest of the music's not very good. And yeah, you don't really care about Tom Holland, because you're just Peter Parker. That's all I see.
Look, man, like, I'm not trying to be discrimination, and Tom Holland, he can do whatever he wants to, but he just fucking looks too young to be Nathan Drake.
Yeah,
Nathan Drake's supposed to be in his 30s, and Tom Holland, I don't know how old he is, but he looks like he's 17. And I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be ageist or anything, but like, you want him to maybe look kind of like the guy.
Well, the funniest part is there's a flashback in the beginning of the movie of young Nate and Sam in the orphanage, and you're like, that motherfucker looked older than Tom Holland does. Like, you could have used Tom Holland in the sequence, and it would have changed nothing.
Oh man, yeah, I had no hopes. You were like, hey, do you want to go watch this with me? And I was like, no, I have better things to do. Like,
we had a lot of +1s for the one of us screening, and I have no idea why.
Yeah, I'll watch that shit when it comes to streaming, maybe, but probably not, because I have better things to do with my life than watch a movie that, by all accounts, looks terrible, or even like, okay, I would rather watch a really bad Uncharted movie than one that has this like 50 score on like Metacritic and
That's
stuff.
the thing. I would too.
Like,
actually.
I'd rather watch the one that was Mark Wahlberg, Joe Pesci, and Robert De Niro as the brothers uncharting their way across the world. I'd rather watch Max Payne than like a mediocre Uncharted movie.
That's the thing. Yeah, a bad Uncharted movie could have been fun.
Yeah.
Where this I will have forgotten pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't see anybody putting it on their movie of the year
Also,
list.
its post-stinger scene is in one of the trailers.
Okay, great, wonderful. All right, well, let's move on from that video game atrocity to an entirely different video game atrocity. Michael, it's my turn with the monkey's paw, okay? Like, you keep getting the things you want, and all I want is another game from Software, and I'm not getting one of those for another 4 hours and 23 minutes, so I don't know what the fuck you get an announcement for Street Fighter 6 that's not going to have any more information until way later in the summer.
Yeah, it's not going to be anymore for a while.
Anyway, Street Fighter 6 got announced, everybody.
Yes.
And it's sweaty Ryu and sweaty new guy.
Fucking Ryu is buff as fuck, by the way.
You know what? He looks like Kylo Ren with his shirt off when he saw wide in Last
He
Jedi.
does, actually. That's the best explanation I've ever heard of that.
Like, he's so wide. How is he so much wider? I remember how wide he was in Street Fighter 2 when he put his hand up in the air when he won, and he was not fucking 8 feet wide and sweaty and beardy and...
Well, this is post Street Fighter 3, I think, is the idea.
Okay. He's got steam coming off him. And then who's this new Sonic the Hedgehog guy?
So the new guy was the last DLC character that was added to Street Fighter 5.
Okay.
I already forgot his name because I never actually used him.
Okay.
I have him, but I never used him. But when they announced that specific character, they said he's a glimpse at the future of Street Fighter is what they said.
Cool.
Not realize we all realized that meant he's probably going to be in Street Fighter 6, and he's probably like an indication of what's to come. But we didn't really know what that meant. We still don't really know.
Okay.
But we do love seeing the fact that Ryu looks like an aged person finally. He's got a beard. He's not wearing his full on gi anymore.
Yeah.
He's got sandals on. He's got more of like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like
hobo, transient.
No, he was always like that. Well, it's that waist thing on the thing on his waist. It's more like a bandagey look.
Okay.
Kind of thing. You know
that
what I mean?
thing?
Yeah. If people can't see what I'm saying, but if you watch the trailer, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited because I like the idea of Ryu finally being aged up past.
Like he's had
Street Fighter
liposuction, like he got real fat, and then they had to get him back down to fighting weight for.
Yeah, he got real fat after Street Fighter 3
for the tournament.
He got depressed after Ken got married.
Yeah.
They didn't hang out anymore.
Yeah.
You know, the whole thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is very basic. The one thing I was going to ask you about, though, right, is like, okay, Street Fighter 4 was the one that had like the, it was like one of the things was those like art techniques where if you hit the buttons, it would like make the paint come
the
out.
focus attack.
Yeah, and then they would like it was like give you hyper armor to do an attack or whatever. And it seems like that's going on with them in this. Like at the very end when they get ready to punch each other, they got all these swirly kind of paint strokes around them.
Well, the hard thing about that is that it could just be like an aesthetic for the trailer.
Okay,
kind of thing. It is because the last game didn't really have that much of that kind of thing. Like it used a lot of it, like it sort of did, but not really. Like I don't know. That's a good way of putting it. It's on a lot of their intros and stuff tend to have that kind of look.
Okay, so it's not necessarily an indication they're bringing back that mechanic.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they are using the RE engine to make this game.
That's good. RE Engine looks great.
It looks great,
and it
so
runs really good too.
I'm really excited. But the only issue is everybody hates the fucking logo that they've shown so far.
Oh yeah. Well, hold on. We're gonna get to that. Actually, no. Fuck it. We'll get to it right now. So we're gonna get more info in summer 2022. Yeah, there's a couple of stories. Okay, for those that haven't seen it, the logo is an octagon, and then it's got an S and an F in the middle, and then a little 6 with the spray paint on the corner. I'm sure that this is just a matter of like bad timing or crypto memory, but somebody found online on Adobe's stock store an $80 logo that looks almost exactly like this logo.
It's damn near identical.
And the thing is that this logo apparently can be downloaded in like an not After Effects, like a
Adobe's stock stuff,
Illustrator format,
or
EPS, which is vector based, which means it would be really, really, really easy to like make that hexagon slightly skinnier, round off a few of the edges of the S and the F. I'm not saying that's what happened here. Like, S and F are not exactly what their logo is not exactly brilliant or interesting. So I don't want to say that like they just copied it, but by making it so simple, it's almost a given that you're going to see something that's similar to it. Right?
Exactly. Like that's the issue with a lot of people's theories about why it looks the way it is.
Yeah,
is that they're thinking they want to use it maybe for like an esports logo,
okay,
kind of thing,
a
or
little
like,
badge, yeah,
to make it easier for like esports merchandise, I guess, or something.
Sure,
but it's a terrible fucking logo.
It's a pretty bad logo.
I doubt it's going to be the main logo. I honestly think it was just a quick just an announcement thing.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it won't stick around.
Well, I mean, this was obviously planned, right? Because we had the big countdown clock on Capcom's website that was counting down to this. So, but yeah, the logo sucks. Also, there's a store in what is it? It's like Taiwan, called Sunfar, that has an almost identical
Jesus fucking Christ,
logo.
guys.
That it used to. They changed their logo a few years back so that it looks less.
Still though,
But it's just an S and an F kind of stylized inside of an octagon.
you know what it reminds me of the most though?
Wait, that's a hexagon, not an octagon.
Yeah.
Haha, take that. You already wrote your comment. Now you have to delete it like a stupid idiot.
It reminds me of some of the old WB logos.
Okay.
Like that sort of the way it's like a thin outline with just the two letters. It just reminds me of that for some reason.
Yeah, it's not the best.
It's a terrible fucking logo.
It's not very good. Capcom, I believe you can do better. But you know what? Logo is not the most important part. The most important part of this is that people think that in that trailer that you could totally see Ryu's dick. Because like if you look at this one shot when they're looking up from below, there appears to be some bulgings happening here that appear to be like you could see Ryu's dick through his gi.
Well, you have to overcome Ryu Shenlong to defeat him.
It's funny because I got this off of a Kotaku article, and I feel like the Kotaku article was like, really, internet? I think we have more important things to worry about than Ryu's dick. And I'm like, you obviously have not been on the internet for very long, Kotaku.
All we know is that the fan art's going to work with this.
Yep.
And it's going to be a whole thing.
And who knows if it's just the way the pants are when they drape like that. But I also kind of like the idea that there's somebody at Capcom that was like, well, I mean, if he was wearing these pants, then you would obviously be able to see. I mean, he's like
he's a hobo. He probably doesn't have underwear.
On.
He goes commando at all times.
Right. And like, I don't want people to think that Ryu doesn't have a big dick. So you got to be able to see his dick through his pants. That's what's important. He's the big dick of Street Fighter. You got to see the dick.
Once he overcome the Satsui no Hado, his dick grew 10 times that day.
What did somebody? It was like on this article where somebody on Twitter was like, I hope that this is real and that Ken is also in this game and then you can't see his dick through his pants.
I kind of hope that's the case too. I want it to only be Ryu, but like only him, like nobody else in the entire game.
Yeah.
Just to confuse people.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this might just be a bad coincidence, like the Resident Evil 6 lady blowing a giraffe man thing.
It probably is, to be honest. It's probably just a crease that somebody put that was like, this adds a lot of detail to it.
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, that's his dick.
Well, and then they put a very specific camera angle that made it look like you could see his dick.
What's the shading too?
Yeah.
The shading doesn't
Nope.
doesn't really help.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
Like I'm looking right at it and it's staring back at me.
Yeah. Somebody needs to put some googly eyes on that motherfucker.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe
you can do the Shin Shoryuken with it.
Maybe his dick is in there. That wasn't actually the only thing though that Konami or Capcom, not Konami. Konami doesn't do anything.
No, they don't.
Capcom also announced the Capcom Fighting Collection, where they're like 10 games are making their return, and half of them are Darkstalkers games,
which I'm totally cool with because they haven't gotten shit for a long time.
Yeah, so this is just like remastering, like adding. Well, it's the Street Fighter collection thing, but with other Capcom games, right?
And also Street Fighter 2 for some reason.
Yes. Well, the reason for Street Fighter 2 is because there's like a $30 version that has all 10 of these, and then there's a $60 version that has this and the Street Fighter collection all in the same package. So you basically get like every because the Street Fighter collection had like all of the Street Fighter games in different modes, right?
Yeah,
like,
it had like pretty much all of them, but it was just kind of strange when they're like, you see all these like really exciting things because you haven't seen a lot of these games for a long time, or probably ever for some of them. And then it's like also Street Fighter 2. I'm like, guys, you could have used that for like Power Stone, or Rival Schools or something, like to make people even more excited. That's just kind of annoying.
Well, it's also weird because okay, so let's get the list here. It's Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, Vampire Savior, Lord of Vampire, Vampire Hunter 2, Darkstalkers Revenge. There's Vampire Savior 2, The Lord of Vampire. They really went all out on these titles, man.
They really did, yes.
They were like, how many times can we say vampire in one title of a video game? Cyberbots Full Metal Madness, Red Earth, Hyper Street Fighter 2, and then Super Gem Fighter Mini Mix, and then Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, which is not a fighting game. Every other one of those is a fighting game.
Yeah, it's very strange.
And Puzzle Fighter is like, I love me some Puzzle Fighter. Don't get me wrong, but that shit ain't a fighting game. So.
It's not like some people were excited at the idea, but like honestly, I would have been fine if it was just those two and not Street Fighter 2.
Yeah,
only because I'm just tired of fucking them re-releasing Street Fighter 2.
Are you tired of Capcom re-releasing stuff?
I mean, they should have like. Which one is the? They should have at least re-released it with the newest Street Fighter 2. Instead of just hyper fucking Street Fighter 2.
Well, I think the newest Street Fighter 2 was in that other collection.
No, it was on the Switch, and it was Ultra Street Fighter 2, and it wasn't on the collection.
Oh, right. Was that the one that had like Evil Ken in it or whatever?
Evil Ken and one other character, I think, but I can't remember. But yeah, that was the thing. Is like, why don't you just re-release that instead? Because that's the thing that's like not on everything right now.
Yeah.
As far as I know, that's only a Switch game.
But yeah, it's got what? It's got the online rollback netcode and like the, all the quality of life stuff, like the galleries and like mode selects and all that shit.
You can save like mid fucking fight too, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's kind of cool, except that like, for people who don't remember, 4 years ago, pre-RE7, there was a period where for like 3 years, Capcom just did nothing but re-release old stuff.
Yeah.
Like they didn't put out a single new game for a while. And I'm like, don't slip back into your old ways, Capcom. Come on, you can do it.
The theory people... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I was just going to say the theory people have is that this is them testing the waters for more Darkstalkers.
Okay.
Especially since they're just releasing all of them pretty much at once.
Well, you know what? I'd love to see a 3D Darkstalkers.
I would too.
Like Darkstalker. Like there have been 3 Street Fighters that are fully 3D. 4, 5, and 6, I guess.
4, 5, 6, and then there's those old
EX ones.
Yeah, the EX games.
You know what I want though was Techromancer a Capcom game?
I don't remember.
I really want to play Techromancer. I played in the arcade like twice when I was a teenager. And I never got a chance to play it because it was only on like the Saturn, and I didn't have one. Techromancer, that was Capcom.
That is a Capcom game. Yeah. Well, see, that's another good example of like other games you could have re-released on this fucking collection.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they're just going through all of the 2D sprite-based fighting games, right? None of them are 3D. They're all just like ones that could probably be plugged into there. It probably has something to do with the engine that they were all made on too.
Yeah, I heard some of those games have issues with like rights and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I heard the Rival Schools one apparently has a lot of issues that way.
I want to play Techromancer. Anyway, so yeah, there's going to be all this stuff, rollback, blah, 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 blah. And then there's also going to be, like I said, there's going to be a $40 version for that. These are out June 24th. And then there's a $60 version that has that and then the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. So there you go. But
that's nice, I guess.
Yeah.
But especially if you don't own that stuff right now.
The other thing that Capcom did was that there was some updates to the Resident Evil history page.
Interesting.
That's like a page on their website. It's all in Japanese. It's kind of hard to figure out. But basically, like, there was some HD art added for Code Veronica, Biohazard, and Biohazard 2. And then, like, some of the images were, like, some of the pictures of, like, enemies look like they've been kind of, like, touched up and reskinned. So it's unclear whether this is like getting ready for like a remaster, even if it's just a remaster with the, not a remake, right? But just we're taking the existing assets and we're up-resing them and we're cleaning them up a little bit.
Yeah, we just joked about this too in another video, actually.
Yeah. I think it was Resident Evil 4 on the Patreon.
Yeah, I think it's on the Patreon. Yeah, we literally had just mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah. So, that would be really interesting. Yeah, we were just talking about how we wish that they would put out Code Veronica. I don't really give a shit about the because those are like the online games, right? The Outbreak games.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. Who knows whether this is a sign of things to come? I mean, there's always some alternate reason that the shit could be happening, where it's like Capcom's like, I don't know, just go put some HD models up. Like, but people will think we're going to put out a new one, and it's like, I don't care what people think. Just go do what I say. This is your busy work. This is your punishment for shitting in my office last night. Is you got to go up-res some Code Veronica things and then deal with the shitstorm on Twitter when you update the webpage.
Because he was Googling himself in his office.
That's right. That's
You don't mind if I Google myself in your obsolescence?
how else are you going to do it? Yeah. So, but Capcom was not the only company last week to announce some new stuff. This was a really strange thing, but there was an announcement last week for Soul Hackers 2. Now, Michael, tell me what you know about Soul Hackers.
I don't.
Okay. I didn't either, man. I didn't know shit about Soul Hackers until I went online and looked it up. This was a Dreamcast spin-off of Devil Summoner that was based around like the internet. People are using the internet for evil, and so we're going to use the internet to summon demons and then fight the demons who are being summoned by the other people. So it's like a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei, but it was like only on the Dreamcast, and then there was a version that was released on the 3DS, for God's sake. And that's the only thing that's ever happened. And
That's why it sounds familiar to me then, because it's like, I've heard that name, I just don't know shit about it.
Yeah, and so they just announced a new one, and there's a lot of really crazy shit going on here. I don't know if you got a chance to watch this trailer, but like, here's some things that one, as any Atlas game on the Dreamcast that has never been re-released. Of course, there are a bunch of nerdos on the internet that are like, yeah, the Soul Hacker was my jam. I fucking played the shit out of that game when I was 8 years old.
There's always the one guy, no matter where you go.
People who didn't play it are excited because it appears that the main character is a woman, which does not happen in Atlas games.
No, it's super rare. Usually you're fucking the other women.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, between Persona and Catherine and fucking Shin Megami Tensei, almost all their protagonists are dudes.
Well, I thought the new Shin Megami wasn't going to be a girl, and then it's just a dude, a super androgynous guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's kind of disappointing, to be honest.
Also, she talks.
Really?
Like, it's a voiced character. So
That's fascinating.
Which is something that, if you think back, like most of the Persona protagonists and the Shin Megami Tensei protagonists, they're silent protagonists. So, and then the team that is making this, there was an interesting note. I wasn't actually I was like, okay, because I'll be honest, we'll go into what it looks like in a second, because it looks a little generic if you're just into that whole Shin Megami Tensei thing. But there was an interview where they were talking with the guys that are making it, and it is I should tell their full names, Hirata and Ishida, who basically the last game those two made together was Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE, which I thought was absolutely wonderful looniness.
A lot of people really like that game. Also, I just realized this main character's name is Ringo.
Ringo.
So I kind of hope the rest of the characters' names are Paul, George, and John.
So Ringo appeared. I mean, like if you watch this, it seems like as Persona is modern day and Shin Megami Tensei sometimes kind of goes, I don't know, semi-medieval. This is like, there's dialogue where the Ringo is like, I was born out of the internet. Like, she is not a person, but
she's
like
got that internet gas or whatever.
Yeah.
From the New Warriors. That thing that got canceled.
Yes. And she's come from the internet to keep the apocalypse from happening. And she's got a jacket made out of Triforces and booty shorts and a big sword and demons. And I kind of dig it. Like, I kind of dig every part of what I'm seeing here. Like,
I kind of would love the plot to be that she comes out of the internet to destroy shit posting.
Well, apparently, like, they want to have, like, because these characters come from the internet, like, and Japan doesn't care, they're going to have some, like, commentary based on, like, how people act on the internet and things like that, which I'm like, yay, great, wonderful. Just make the final boss 4chan and be done with that.
This is going to go great.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, the art style is very basic. And this is also another thing that's a little bit of not a fuck you, really, but, like, it's coming to the PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC, and not the Switch.
That's interesting.
So
also, the final boss should be Metaverse Zuckerberg. I'm just saying.
It's just an NFT. It's Elon Musk with he throws NFTs at you, throws apes at you.
He's the mini boss.
But it looks very creative. It looks really interesting. I like the art style. It reminds me a little bit of like that Scarlet Nexus game that came out.
I can see that, yeah.
mostly because of the triangles, because it's futuristic triangles. But I don't know. I'm all into it. I'm all into it. So
I hope it being on the other consoles just means that it runs really well, though, because I know that was one of the issues you had with Shin Megami 4. Was it 4? I don't know, 5.
Yeah, it just I just couldn't. It was. Well, also the game, like, I liked it at first where it was like, okay, here's all the exposition. And then once you get into the open world, it's like this huge open world where there's just nothing but like fights and fights and fights and capturing and fights and fights and capturing. And then it would be like fights and fights and capturing for like 9.5 hours. And then you fight the boss of the area. And there would be like 40 minutes of exposition. And then you get to the next area. And it was just like, okay, guys, I know I say I don't like exposition, but I need more exposition than this, especially because it's just this mute protagonist. And then I finally got to the point where I just kind of lost interest. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. Like, and not just that, but it's coming out this year. Like,
I wonder if I'll have one of the dick monsters.
When is it? August 26th. So
okay,
announced and released in the same year, unlike a lot of other JRPGs.
That is legitimately surprising. I would be interested if it does actually release on that month.
Yeah. So yeah, look it up. Go look at the trailer. Looks cool. I'm all about it. Let's see. From there, in other RPG news, we had a bunch of Nier stuff that happened, putting the Niers in the phone game. I don't give a shit. But one of the things that they did announce was there was a very short trailer which literally has nothing in it except for Japanese and a picture of what's her face from that everyone wants to bone from Nier Automata.
I never played it, so
9S 2B, which I forget 9S and 2B, but it's one of those. I don't know, man. I don't care.
They're Nier. That's their name.
Yeah,
they're Automata. Nier Automata. It's their full name.
They're making an anime.
Oh,
they're making an anime based on Nier Automata, and it's being made by what is it? Aniplex.
Okay.
Which has done some very good stuff. I mean, Aniplex did Demon Slayer and Full Metal Alchemist, but then they also did, like, I think it's funny how I could tell from this article that whoever wrote this article on Polygon doesn't watch anime, because they're like, Aniplex, the production company behind anime such as Full Metal Alchemist, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, and The Promised Neverland. I don't know if you know this, Michael, but The Promised Neverland, everybody loved season 1, and season 2 just fucking took a giant dump in the middle of my office and then jumped out the window Resident Evil 4 style. Like, apparently...
That's what I've heard about it, actually, yeah.
It was terrible.
Apparently it was just pure fucking garbage.
But yeah, I actually think that this is kind of interesting. I'm curious, though, if they're going to try like because you know the big thing with Nier Automata is that you play through it once and then you play through it again and then you play through it a third time, and the more times you play through it you get from different character perspectives. So I'm almost like, can we just do like season 1 as a regular anime with 2B, and then like season 2 is that same arc but from 9S's perspective, changing the plot, and then you have a whole third season that's like from 4A or whatever the fuck the other lady's name is, like. Or are they just going to try to smash all the weird? It's, you know, whenever there's like a game that's up its own ass, and then they're just like, yeah, we're like I don't know how the fuck you make Persona 5 into an anime. I'm like, if you just directly translate it, yeah, then it would be boring. Like, I don't know. On the other hand,
so what you're saying is they should just go full Cuphead with it.
Yes.
And just make it an old-timey cartoon.
Make it an old-timey cartoon.
Where she goes into crazy, wacky adventures.
Yes.
I would love for them to do that just to fuck with people.
What the fuck? Okay, sorry. Somebody in the Discord said something that really confused me. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. There's literally no information about this yet outside of that announcement.
Okay.
So, but I do think that asking people to play Nier is a bit of a chore, even if it is Nier Automata or the re-release of...
it is a bit of a chore, yeah.
The one from last year. They're cool stories, if they could, but part of it is that you have to play it like a game. Like... I don't know. It's weird. Maybe they can get that across. Maybe they can't. So
I could go either way.
Let's see.
That's the tricky thing about those.
What the hell is going on here? Anyway, right. In other news of stuff that is coming out or maybe not coming out, apparently 2023 will not have a Call of Duty game.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah.
It's shocking, to say the least.
It is the first time since 2004 that there will not be a yearly Call of Duty release.
Fuck, are you serious?
Yep.
That's how long ago that was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
There's hasn't. I mean, like, we would have covered it if there'd been a year where they missed. They put out that horrible Black Ops. What was the hero shooter that they made? Was that Black Ops 4?
It was Black
or
Ops 4, I think.
something? It was terrible.
People fucking hated it.
Yeah, it was no good. It was no good. But yeah, apparently, apparently they're putting out this year the sequel to Modern Warfare, and then they're also going to be doing a big update for Warzone. But then they said that they're not just going to not put anything out next year, but they're just going to do basically updates to Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and Warzone rather than having like a full-on next entry in the franchise. And part of this, there's a Bloomberg report on this that said that the reason that they wanted to do this was because Vanguard sold well, but it didn't sell as much as they wanted it to. And they're worried about the idea that they're burning out the community with, like, there's a new game to buy every year, as well as this free online to play thing. Well, I mean, it used to be, right, that, like, there wasn't an always free, always updated version of Call of Duty. You had to buy whatever the new one was to get into the multiplayer from that year. But now that's not the case anymore. You can just play Warzone. So, like, they kind of need to chill the fuck out. And also, like, was anybody excited? I mean, Vanguard, I played Vanguard with Chris. It looked very beautiful, and it was boring as hell. It was just another Call of Duty game. Like, it didn't do anything at all for me.
It needed more armor, Titan, is what you're saying.
We will get to that. We will fucking get to that. We will get to that. Yeah, but so. What the update from Activision after they ran the trailers. Well, we have an exciting slate of premium and free-to-play Call of Duty experiences for this year, next year, and beyond. Reports of anything otherwise are incorrect. We look forward to sharing more details when the time is right. The other question, though, that this brings up is, are they doing this to, like, run out the clock on the acquisition and get far enough forward in time that people won't get mad at them when the one after the 2024 version is an Xbox exclusive?
I doubt it. I think, well, yes and no. I think they're doing it to run a clock on the acquisition, probably because they're worried that once they are acquired, that they'll just fire a bunch of people or something, and then all that work will just go nowhere. Because that happens a lot in acquisition stuff.
Yeah,
where somebody's very, like, deep into a game, and then an acquisition happens, and that game never exists. And who would know that better than Activision, who did that to a lot of fucking companies?
That is true.
So yeah,
that is very true.
Ghostbusters, the game, almost didn't come out because of Activision,
of course,
as well as Brutal Legend.
Well, speaking of crappy-ass Activision, things that crappy-ass Activision did, apparently the California Department of Fair, the DFEAH, the ones that kicked off this whole thing, Department of Fair Housing and Employment and whatever, has, like, subpoenaed a bunch of, like, police records.
Oh, wow.
But it's like, it's, okay, man, I really don't want to, like, agree in some ways with Kodak. You know what? I'm going to both agree and disagree. Is like they're just, well, here, let me just say, they have subpoenaed Activision's directors related to company handling of workplace issues. They've also subpoenaed police departments in Los Angeles area for any records that they have related to longtime chief executive Bobby Kotick and 18 other current and former Activision employees. And then federally, the Securities and Exchange Commission has sent an additional subpoena to Activision as part of its investigation. It launched based on sexual harassment allegations. Activision's take on this is that this is like what they call it. Okay, a lot of feelings about this. They're like, this is a huge fishing expedition. They don't actually have any allegations. They're just looking for more dirt on us. And it's like, right, but, like, is there dirt on you? Because just because somebody didn't find the dirt doesn't mean that you aren't dirty. Like,
I do like the term, though, extraordinary fishing expedition.
Yeah.
Because it sounds fancy compared to a witch hunt.
Right. Right.
And I actually really do like that a
What was
lot.
the- here, what
Because
was-
the visual is much more appealing.
What was the statement they put out? The DFEH is requesting sensitive, confidential information with no limits or relevant scope from Southern California police departments. This serves no legitimate purpose. It represents yet another questionable tactic in DFEH's broader effort to derail Activision Blizzard's settlement with the EEOC. Rather than protecting California workers, the DFEH is impeding the meaningful progress at Activision Blizzard and delaying compensation to affected employees. This, to me, when run through the fucking Jeff's corporate translation machine, is like, no, we already did it. We said we're sorry. We paid our fine. Stop it. Stop looking at us. Don't look any further.
That's exactly what that means.
Do not look in the back of that closet. There are no skeletons back there. I promise there are no skeletons back there. You don't need to open that closet. There's nothing in there. That we know. We already took the bodies out. I mean,
There's
like,
no cum box under my bed.
I mean, I guess the thing is that for I don't know. This is just another one of these things of just like, if you did some shit and we haven't found out about it yet, you can't say like, okay, well, we're done, and you're not allowed to see if I did anything else bad now. Like, no. I called. No subpoenas. No subpoenas.
Mulligan, guys.
Yeah.
Mulligan. We finished this. Home base. I already touched the tree.
Right. Yeah, come the fuck on. There's no end to it. If you guys did fucking horrible shit in the past and they find out about it, I don't have any sympathy for you of just like, but you weren't supposed to look for the horrible shit that I did. It was like, no, you weren't supposed to do the horrible shit. Like,
yeah, that's not how this works, guys.
that was the thing. You were supposed to not do the bad shit. Like, if there's shit in the LA police archives that is going to be embarrassing to Activision Blizzard, I would like to know about that. And the more they tell me there's nothing, the more they tell me that it's none of my business, the more I want to know what is in there.
Well, that's the thing is, if you have things that you know are going to show up in the literal police files,
right,
then you've done something wrong already.
Yeah,
like you should, like, if you know you did nothing wrong, you shouldn't expect anything to show up in that.
Right. Like, generally, the objective is to go through life without having anything in the police department database.
Yeah, if it's like fucking like speeding tickets or something, fine. That's normal. But if you have like insane shit in there, it should be fine for people to find out that about.
Which, like,
you.
who knows? There might be some insane shit in there. Like, at this point, who can say? It's hard to even imagine based on the shit that we've already found out about.
They should listen to their mom, man. Shows up in their permanent record.
That's right. It's going to be in your permanent record. So, yeah, I do not have a lot of sympathy for Activision at all.
Neither do I.
Pretty much, period. Full stop. I'm done. But I wish that was our last. I wish that was our last corporate malfeasance story.
What they do now?
Well, not just that, but like there was a new report that came out from the Wall Street Journal that showed that Microsoft apparently opened the negotiations to buy Activision Blizzard 3 days after that big expose on Bobby Kotick came out in the Wall Street Journal. So, like, listen. We all like Phil Spencer. He seems like an okay guy, but he's still a fucking suit, right?
That's the thing.
Like,
yeah.
he was
He's
out there
always
like, we're deeply disappointed, but it's not our responsibility to talk about what happens at other companies. And then he's like, did you get all that? Okay, bye. Door slam. Boop, 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 boop. Kotick, I'm going to buy your fucking company. I'm going to buy your fucking company.
There's blood in the water,
You're
Kotick.
weak, Bobby. You're weak.
I saw the blood in the water, Kotick. We're coming for your ass.
That's right. Like,
We're gonna lowball the shit out of you.
Right, like they saw that the board was shaky, and then they swooped in to do a takeover, and they put a really nice face on it. But like, of course, it was always this shit behind closed doors, right?
Well, it was never not going to be this shit.
Yeah,
like people don't buy other companies nicely. It's not a thing. It's never been a thing.
Like, is there ever a way that people spend $70 billion that doesn't have a kind of dark story behind it?
Exactly. Like, when the second they said they spent $70 billion, like, it was like, yeah, of course they fucking walked up to Kotick and did some full Godfather shit with him.
Right.
Hey, Bobby, you want to go on a fishing expedition with us real quick?
Or he just called up and he's like, Bobo Roberts, okay, man, do you want to keep getting raked over the coals for this? Because I talked to the guys. We'll give you $68.5 billion right now for the company. You can retire. You can live like a pharaoh for the rest of your fucking life.
Just walk away, bud.
Just walk away. So
all we want is the Crash Bandicoots.
Yeah. Again, like I'm not saying this to be like, so now we know that Phil Spencer is a baddo, and it's like he's not a baddo.
He's a corporate motherfucker.
He's a corpo. Yeah, like he's a fucking corpo from Cyberpunk. Like he puts on a good face. He does the PR very well for Microsoft and makes them seem good. So
he's in charge for a reason. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you're in charge, it's usually not for good reasons, or not. You know what I mean?
it's not
because you're the nicest guy in the building. It's
Exactly. So yeah. In other news,
you're known to flip coins. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, I love this story so much, Michael. I love it
even more than Ryu's dick.
I love it more than Ryu's dick. So there was this Ubisoft call. I don't know if you heard about this.
No.
There was this Ubisoft call that was like an earnings call to investors and stockholders and stuff like that. And during the call, one of the people on the call said had a question. They said, in a consolidating industry, I guess I'm just wondering why you guys haven't had an offer given the embedded value in your IP. Is that because in order to be acquired, you have to signal that you want to be acquired and that you haven't done that? And so then this on this call was Yves, CEO, but also the CFO, Frederic. I'm saying that way because there are two goddamn umlauts in his name or whatever.
In there.
Dunjay. So Dunjay says, we will not speculate on why people have not made any offer. What is interesting, and then Guillemot interrupts him and says, if any offer were made, actually. And then Dunjay comes back and says, absolutely. So I can't comment on that further. What we can say is that we mentioned we have high value assets and blah. He goes back onto the whole thing, and it's like, I have the feeling that the Guillemot family would be, they're just like, why won't anybody make us a $60 billion offer?
Yeah, Guillemot's reaction is literally like, if anybody offered me fucking anything, I would just say yes. Is basically what he's saying.
Yeah, so there was a spokesperson that talked to Kotaku in an email, and they said, we won't comment if there have been any offers. With any decision, it's always based in the interest of our stakeholders, including employees, players, and shareholders. Ubisoft can remain independent. We have the talents, the industrial and financial scale, and a large portfolio of powerful IPs. If there were an offer, it would, of course, be reviewed by the board of directors and with keeping in interest of all stakeholders. This is also very interesting because, as this article reminded me, and as we talked about on this very goddamn podcast,
I remember this
4 years ago when Ubisoft was Vivendi was trying to take over Ubisoft in a hostile takeover, and Yves Guillemot was like, everybody unite behind me. No, keep Ubisoft independent. It's all for the glory of gamers and good stuff. Don't let us be taken over by a heartless corporation that doesn't care about their workers and is shitty and just puts out carbon copy cookie cutter games. And then we were like, okay, Yves, we're all behind you. And then it's like, Yves, come on. Come on.
It was literally like that moment where he's like, what if I just do that then?
Yeah.
They had enough money to almost fuck me over. What if I just did that now?
Yeah.
It was really close to. They were really close to losing it.
Also, apparently, like, this investor call showed that, like, you know, Michael, you've been around the Rage Select podcast. Have we had any stories about how well Rainbow Six Extraction is selling in the stores?
No.
Like
very little stories that are like Ubisoft whatever did so good that it wasn't shut down after like a year.
Yeah.
The Battle Royale was a great success.
Oh,
they said
they haven't even put that shit out
with
yet.
their fingers crossed.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously they're still raking in money off of like Rainbow Six Siege and Assassin's Creed, but you know, they shut down Hyperscape.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, things
We're still worried. We're still making a pirate game. You can't prove nothing.
I literally cut a story from this week's podcast that was like, executives at Ubisoft are like, we are very happy with the way that Skull and Bones development is going. And it's like, well, that's a fucking lie. Like, it's been 8 years and there's no game. Like,
there's not even a trailer.
Yeah. There's no way that you could be happy with the way that this is going. Like, it's just untrue. I know what business is.
There's no war in Bang Sea.
Yes, exactly. So, Yeah, poor Ubisoft. They just can't get anybody to buy them. Nobody wants to buy them.
The girl at the prom, nobody wants to ask the dads for $70 billion.
They get bought. So yeah. In other news that you're going to have to use your brain to think about after I tell you, Nacon is acquiring Daedalic Entertainment for $60 million. So this is a bunch of European developers. Daedalic is a publisher. They put out a lot of cool stuff like the Talos Principle, and they've got a Shadow Tactics, and I believe Desperados 3 was them as well.
Cool.
They're like a mid-range publisher. There is literally a whole web story here with them just fucking licking each other's nutsacks, saying like, we're so happy, we're in partnership. Also, Daedalic is making that Gollum game for $1 billion years,
which I don't have any interest in whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed in you, VG247, because when I, as the Rage Select podcast, can remember shit that you don't, and your story just reads like a press release. Michael, tell me more about Nacon.
No. I don't
Nacon
remember shit about Nacon.
used to be called Big Ben Entertainment. Nacon was the company that literally downloaded a copy of The Sinking City and stripped Frogwares' name and copyright out of it and reposted it on Steam and refused to pay them any royalties. Nacon can eat all the dicks in the Middle Earth.
Now I remember who Nacon is.
Yes. That's why I brought this up, because I'm just like, somebody else may have forgotten, but I didn't forget.
No.
I remember you.
He's like an elephant. He never forgets. He's never going to forget that.
I remember the juicy tidbits. Yes. It's really a shame, because I think that Daedalic is a good company that makes really interesting games. But
yeah, they are. They tend to be, at least.
But they don't. But this is. I mean, I'm sure they just offered them a shit. It's funny. The headline is like, Nacon buys Daedalic for $60 million, and it's like, oh, that's quaint compared to everything else we've seen this year.
Yeah, this past year everything's been in the billions.
Yeah,
so they're like, they give him $60 million, so they gave him like the equivalent of $60 compared to everything else.
How cute! Wait, how much was the Bungie one? Was that $1 billion?
That was in the billions. I think it was a couple billion.
Okay,
something like that.
And Zynga, it was like $2 billion.
So I can't remember the specific, but I do remember each one has been in the billions.
Okay,
like none of them have been a million, except for this one. This is the first time it was like $60 million, and Microsoft's just laughing because it's pocket change to literally everything they've done.
I really, 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 really hope that this is not going to fuck up Daedalic, because Nacon seems like a bunch of shit faces. And I like a lot of the games that Daedalic has put out. The Deponia series, and Shadow Tactics, like I said.
It was $3.6 billion was what they spent.
Oh, for Bungie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right. I think we're almost ready to take a break. It's 3 hours and 41 minutes and 21 seconds until Elden Ring releases, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. I know by the time this goes up, it'll already be out. But I'm just here. You can relive the excitement with me as we count down. Also, Michael, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm looking at the number of stories that we have left, and I think we might have time for some questions this week.
Perhaps. We'll find out.
You'll have to get all the way to the end to find out. Right. Square Enix.
I heard about this too.
Square Enix. Michael, you'll never guess. Okay. You already know the answer to this, but I like to make a dramatic statement because I'm tired and my tummy hurts. Do you think that Square Enix was satisfied or dissatisfied with the number of copies of Guardians of the Galaxy that sold?
They were super dissatisfied.
They were super dissatisfied, because of fucking course they are. Because they probably thought it was going to sell like 20 million copies, and it sold like 500,000 copies for $60 a piece, making them a cool bunch of billions or whatever.
Well, they keep expecting Call of Duty numbers for things that were never going to sell Call of Duty numbers.
Yes! So yeah, there was a... They talked about the critical praise. They had the financial report. Everybody's doing their financial reports because we're coming to end a quarter. And like what? So despite strong reviews, the game's sales on launch undershot our initial expectations. Now, there's no indication of how much it actually sold or what their expectations were, but it sold below expectations. Now, just like with Nacon, let's all get in the fucking Wayback Machine and let's think back. Doodly 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 doo. How many games can you name that didn't sell as well as Square Enix wanted them to sell? Michael, what's one?
Tomb Raider,
Okay.
Deus Ex.
Yep.
Outrider.
Outriders, yes.
We saw, of course, Guardians.
Guardians.
What else? Say Final Fantasy 15.
I don't know if Final Fantasy 15 was one of them.
I can't remember, but I know there was one other one.
Hitman.
That's right. That's a good. Yeah.
Fuckers. Did you know that Hitman 3 made back all its development costs in the first week of sales
I'm not
last year?
surprised by that.
And they're just like, didn't sell enough. And it's like, no, you are just insane.
They're crazy people. I don't know where they're getting these numbers from. There was like, if we make this game, it's going to sell a gajillion copies. And they're like, done. And then it doesn't. And they're like, why didn't it sell a gajillion copies like Call of Duty does? And it's like, because nobody makes that money for these games ever.
Oh, yeah. Did you mention Avengers?
Oh, yeah.
How they managed to fuck up the most profitable franchise of all time?
I was going to mention Avengers, but I only because they fucked up so bad. They brought it up during their annual fucking thing or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, this just went horribly wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what... I think that they think it's still like 1997 over there. And they can just put out anything with their name on it and people will buy a gajillion copies. But, like, I mean, I could have told you. If they had shown me Guardians of the Galaxy and said, how is this going to sell? I was going to be like... moderate to okay.
It's gonna do fine.
Like it's gonna do okay, and then there's a chance that it might do very well, but there was no chance that it was ever gonna be like in the top 10 of the sales figures for the year. Like,
and it came out at a time where a lot of games came out too.
Yeah, you put in the back half of the year up against like Call of Duty and fucking Battlefield and Halo and
it would
shit.
have been a great summer title.
Yeah, absolutely. You put it out in the wrong place. Also, I mean, like, I gotta remember this shit. I don't know how to do trigonometry anymore, but I remember dumb shit like this. Square Enix forced Eidos Montreal, who made this, to make the last Deus Ex a cliffhanger, and then in 2017 canceled the end of that story. Mankind Divided, or Human Revolution, whichever one it was.
I think Mankind Divided was the first one, actually.
Okay, Human Revolution, like, ended on a cliffhanger. It did not end with an end. It ended with like a setup for a sequel, and then like, you remember how they forced him to add in that multiplayer mode?
Yeah.
It was a horrible mistake and garbage. How they made him sell the upgrade packs for Deus Ex, completely breaking the game in microtransactions on their store. How they made IO Interactive split Hitman into an episodic game, and they did it wonderfully. And then they were just like, nobody's buying it. And it's like, well, people are buying it, just not in the amounts that you want.
Yeah.
They literally had one of their fucking executives come out to publicly apologize, and he took a pay cut for how much Tomb Raider sold. That game sold well.
He stepped down, actually. That was the thing. The guy actually outright stepped down. It was fucking ridiculous.
It sold well.
He's like, Tomb Raider's reboot's going to sell the same amount as the last Call of Duty. And everyone was like, are you stupid?
Yeah.
It was never going to happen.
You fucking crack smoker? What are you talking about? So, yeah. And also, and I cannot stress this enough, all of those examples, Tomb Raider, Hitman, etc., my God in heaven, let us all just take a moment before we take a break to say, you have the licensing rights to the most popular media franchise in human history, and by your own greed, you fucked it up to the point where it's not like, it's not interested.
Yeah.
Like, you could have made a 20-hour single player Avengers game where it's like, you get to choose between the Avengers. No, it's got a little like, you got the main story missions and you got to do those, but you got these like side missions over here, and like really tightly craft them for specific characters instead of making everybody kind of watered down, so you can make this team lineups across the board. You could have made a narrative focused Avengers game that was accessible to a lot of different people and sold the shit out of it. Like,
it would have done really well.
If you had a single player game for the Avengers that had the level of hype that Horizon or Elden Ring or Spider-Man, for God's sake, had, you could have made a boatload of money, but you shot for infinity money, and everybody was like, oh, this steak looks very nice, that it tastes like ass. Like, you just got to keep chewing on it. forever in order to get it soft enough to swallow. This is a bad metaphor, but like
it's not a great metaphor.
But
only because like the thing about Avengers is that like it tastes fine the first time you get it, but then you order more of it, and then it just gets worse the more they keep giving you.
Yeah,
like, it's like getting a decently sized like small steak. That's like, oh, this is like once you finish that, you're like, oh, what else do you have?
Yeah,
and they're like, we have a lot of undercooked stuff, and that's all you have.
Can you imagine if they had made a single player game? If they had just taken out like all of the grinding incentives of the multiplayer game and tightened up the mechanics a little bit and made a single player game where they were like, we're going to make the characters look like they do in the movies, and then we're going to have like a huge team that does nothing but coordinate with Marvel to put out 4-hour-long DLC packs that each cost like $5 to $10 a piece, and every one of them is based on whatever the new thing is. Oh, did Eternals come out? Well, here's our little mini campaign of Eternals that you can play. Oh, is WandaVision out? Look, we made a fun like thing based on WandaVision that you can play. Like, there's so much money in this fucking superhero shit, and it's like they just threw it on the ground. They just ignored it in order to try to do this infinity time microtransaction horseshit.
It was a bad outcome, and they're still talking about making more stuff for it, but a lot of the fan base has just sort of stopped playing it.
Why
I haven't touched it in a while either.
Why would you keep playing it? It's just repetitive. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, all right. Rant over. Wait, no. Rant on pause. When we come back, there will be more rants.
We will talk about Gex.
Oh, yes. No, we're never doing that. So, I will rant at you while we're on the break. And we're back. And it's only 3 hours and 24 minutes left until Elden Ring unlocks.
Yes.
We have to get this podcast done.
And then Christmas happens.
3 hours and 24 minutes before I can do this. By the way, I just briefly want to say, somebody in the Discord had asked me if I was going to do a midnight launch stream for this, and I'm so fucking worn out. Like,
yeah, there's no way you can do it.
I've been sick for the last couple days, and my stomach is tied in knots, and I'm also drinking just shitloads of coffee, which I'm sure is helping my stomach.
No. He also read something in the Discord and then stared at it for like 5 minutes trying to figure out what it said.
Yeah, that happened. That happened too. Anyway, we're back. And I bet you thought we were done talking about Square Enix, but we are not done talking about Square Enix.
We're going to talk about Gex, like I said.
No.
We're going to make more Gexes.
Oh, no.
Just all the Gexes.
Apparently, the next Avengers update is supposed to be in March. And apparently it's going to be, what? Nick Fury is back.
Yes, so they did announce this a little while ago that Nick Fury is supposed to be back and I guess give you missions or something.
And they're like reworking the war table to make it easier and like the progression system in general. And it's just like, this goes back to what I was yelling and screaming and ranting about before. Is it's just like, the war table is your mission selection screen.
It was a terrible system.
Are you telling me that was so bad and you didn't realize before it launched how bad it was? Because I knew how bad it was the moment I saw it, where it was like, why is this unnecessarily complicated? Like,
yeah, there were whole times where I'm like, I would talk to people who I did play it with. They're like, where's this mission at? I'm like, oh, you got to go all around the world to find it first.
You have to go to the right region.
Especially when the Wakanda one came out, because that one, like, because it's in Africa, the icon is in Africa.
Yeah.
But the map starts, like, kind of on the top of the globe.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't, like, if you're just going around in a circle, you'll never actually see Wakanda until you go down. And the game doesn't really tell you that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate that they're still trying to make it a thing, and I bet that it's probably to the point where, I don't know, I'd be really interested to see like what the actual sales numbers on DLC and stuff, like when they put out War for Wakanda, did they make any money off of that? It was a free update. It was supposed to all be like funded by DLC transactions, but like you're the only person I've ever heard of in the history of all mankind who actually spent real money, and you didn't even spend that much real world money on it.
The Reddit spends a lot of money on it apparently.
Okay, so it's one of those things that has a very small community, but they're dedicated.
Yeah, a lot of them buy the outfits as they come out. They came out with 2 Spider-Man ones recently, for that matter.
Okay,
I know they just announced the Homecoming outfit's supposed to come out soon if it hasn't already.
Okay.
So, yeah, but apparently people are buying these $15 suits. So,
all right. Let's see. In other Square Enix news, we got the news that the Final Fantasy 14, the producer of Final Fantasy 14 and director Naoki Yoshida said they're not going to put any NFTs in Final Fantasy 14.
Ooh.
Came out and said basically like, based on how Final Fantasy XIV is designed, we don't intend on incorporating any sort of NFT element into the game at this point. If anybody is worried or concerned about it, I can clearly state at this time that we do not have any intentions to incorporate that into the game. This was important, right? Because remember the CEO of Square Enix and his fucking Looney Tunes New Year's proclamation about how like we want to give people fucking money for making. Why are you playing games for fun? You need to be playing games to earn. And
should make NFTs.
was like, boo. Apparently, he mentioned in the stream that like they did that, and then like a week later they were like, people didn't seem to like that very much.
No, they didn't.
Which I think is an interesting. I mean, like, of course,
what if we make Tomb Raider an NFT and then it'll sell all the Call of Duty copies?
Right.
And everyone was like, "Are you stupid?"
I want companies to hire me as a special consultant for like, I'll do it for $100,000 an appointment, and they're going to come in and they're going to be like, all right, show me your NFT plans. And they're like, okay, we got the whiteboard, we got the PowerPoint, and they're going to do there. I'm going to sit there. I'm just going to, just eat like pistachios and spit the shells out on the floor. And then when they get
like Shark Tank,
yes, yeah. And then when they get to, I mean, like Frank in the therapist's office with the sunflower seeds, who's just spitting them out on the floor. And then when they get done, I'd be like, no, that's not it. Nope, shouldn't do it. Don't even talk about it. Don't even say it out loud. It's like Beetlejuice.
Exactly. Unless they come up with an NFT that's like, it'll suck your dick for free. It'll be like, sold. Now you got me.
I saw a video on YouTube. Sorry, we're in the Jeff is the hates NFT corner for a minute. I saw a video on YouTube about one of these NFTs that's just big titty anime girls, and buying the NFT is the key that unlocks the part of the website that shows you your big titty NFT anime girl with no fucking clothes on. So, and it's called like NFT girlfriends or something like that. It's
that's
just
amazing.
Like, no, go outside. Like,
that's so sad, but kind of amazing.
I'm not even a very big fan of that whole thing of just like, you gotta go touch grass, and I'm like, fuck you, grass is dirty, and then you gotta change your clothes, you gotta take a shower and everything, stay inside and play Elden Ring. But like, some people need to go outside.
They need to at least minimum like go out and buy a pizza without it being delivered.
Yes,
like minimum, like to where you're outside, you don't have to touch the grass, you can look at the grass.
Yes,
but you gotta at least get the pizza by yourself.
Stand on the grass.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this whole stream wasn't entirely free of NFTs because Yoshida did say, I do believe the vehicle itself could potentially be something that makes the concept of a video game a little bit more interesting. That being said, we would need a specific game design that would accommodate for the concept of NFTs, which
that's fair, actually.
Is better than the alternative, right?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to shove this bullshit into an existing game that doesn't have any business with it. Like, but at the end of the day, it's just like the whole point of an NFT, right, is that it's on the blockchain. The blockchain is not tied to a specific organization. So, like, you could buy a thing in a thing, and then you have ownership of it outside of Square Enix's ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
Why would Square Enix want to let you do that when they have the tools in place to let you buy the outfit, but make it be locked permanently to their ecosystem instead of letting you go outside of their ecosystem?
That's the issue with NFTs is that everyone wants to make money off of them by doing the exact opposite of why people like them to begin with.
Right. Like
we're going to centralize it. It's like, yeah, but the whole point of this was that it's not a centralized system. Everything is just kind of the open. Well, that site called the OpenSea, where a bunch of people got robbed from it.
Hey, look at that! That was my next story. A bunch of people got robbed on OpenSea. But again, like I listened to a podcast today. Went over those like those two idiots that stole all those NFTs that got busted by the feds last week.
I don't even remember that.
It was like a Bonnie and Clyde. Like the guy was like a tech bro. And then the woman was like a marketing person that was also a SoundCloud rapper.
Oh, my God.
And they stole like $40 billion worth of NFTs. But like when you take an NFT, the only way you have ownership of it is if the publicly available blockchain has your name telling where it is.
Yeah.
So like you can't steal an NFT. If you could steal, you wouldn't download an NFT. No, if you could steal an NFT, it wouldn't be an NFT.
No.
Because it has to have the blockchain ledger in order to prove that a person has ownership of it. So if it's not on the blockchain, there's no way for you to prove that you have ownership of it. How the fuck are you going to steal this?
Just right-click everything, Joe.
That's right. Well, no, that's funging. I funge them. That's my thing. I'm not stealing. I'm funging. So that's a whole different thing.
I love that meme of like it's that character from Casino Royale. It's like, I see your tokens are more fungible than you let on, Mr. Bond.
I just my favorite one is there was I think the one I showed you from Seinfeld with George.
Oh yeah,
it's like they're fudging my tokens, Jerry. My tokens, Jerry. They're getting fudged.
Fudging my tokens, Jerry.
Anyway, this is just a side thing to just explain more to people on the internet who already agree with me why they should have nothing to do with NFTs.
Pretty much. It's super easy, apparently. Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah, apparently a bunch of NFTs on OpenSea got stolen, and then a lot of them got given back. Like, that was the later part of this was, okay, so OpenSea says it was a phishing attack where a bunch of people basically, like, you know, they got an email, it looked legit, they went to install a thing, it stole their fucking shit, right? But then the same people whose shit got stolen are like, you know, it's really weird that all this happened only to people on OpenSea, only who agreed to this new thing that was an update that happened on this one day, and then suddenly all of our shit got taken. But the back half of this is that apparently a bunch of them got given back. In fact, some of them, let's see, the attacker successfully fished 32 OpenSea users into signing a malicious contract, which allowed the attacker to take the NFTs and then flip them. Bizarrely, the hacker returned some of the NFTs to the original owners, and one victim inexplicably received 50 Ethereum, or $130,000, from the attacker, as well as some of his stolen NFTs back.
What the fuck?
In the comment section of this Kotaku article, they seemed to some people tended to or were speculating that what they did was they took them, they sold them, then when it became clear that they were stolen, they went down in price, then they bought them back from the people that they stole them to and literally gave them back and then kept the profits in between.
What the fuck?
Because that's a thing you can do, I guess.
Oh my fucking god, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, just don't fucking do it.
What the fuck?
Don't get into this ecosystem. It's just full of scamsters and SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah, apparently. OpenSea's full of just some weird shit, though. Just like just random nonsense is people that are fucking minting and selling.
I'm waiting for the day when somebody tries to mint a picture of Jeff Puppet. Because I want to take that shit to the Supreme Court. I'm going to fucking find a horrible lawyer. I'm going to find the equivalent of Saul Goodman in Austin, Texas, to take this thing all the way to the top. That belongs to me, motherfucker. There ain't no more Jeff Puppets. There's only one. It's a bespoke. Like, I own the NFT. I own the token and the actual thing. That's all belongs to me. So
NFTs are stupid, guys. They
really
continue to be stupid.
They're really dumb. Speaking of ripping people off and stealing a bunch of shit, Steam is instituting some new rules. This is actually a really, really, really interesting thing. So Steam is instituting, at the end of March, some new rules that have to do with the way that things are discounted and the way that things are put on sale. You know, one of the things that Steam, like, I didn't understand this at first, but like one of the things was that you can no longer discount things less than 10% or more than 90%.
That's interesting.
And a lot of this is because apparently two things. One, like companies will inflate the price of a game and then discount it by 90% to be what they actually were going to sell it for in order to make more money, but to make it look like you're getting a deal.
They're doing the JCPenney route.
Exactly. Or they will discount it so deeply in the first few weeks just to get it on the trending page.
Yeah.
To make it so low in price that it goes on the trending page. So here's the specifics that Steam is going to be instituting. You can run a launch discount, but once your launch discount ends, you cannot run any other discounts for 28 days. It is not possible to discount your product for 28 days following a price increase in any currency. Discounts cannot be run within 28 days of your prior discount, with the exception of Steam-wide seasonal events. Discounts for seasonal sale events cannot be run within 28 days of releasing your title, within 28 days from when your launch discount ends, or within 28 days of a price increase in any currency. You may not change your price while a promotion is live now or scheduled for the future. It's not possible to discount a product by more than 90% or less than 10%, and custom discounts cannot last longer than 2 weeks or run for shorter than 1 day.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it basically just seems like as the Steam discount system has been online for longer and longer, that people have just started to abuse it.
Yeah.
To make it do, adjust the price and then apply a discount, or like do some janky shit to game the algorithm on Steam to get stuff into the trending tab, et cetera, et cetera. So
it took them this long to fuck with it then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because they're losing money that way.
Yes. Yeah. But it's fucking Steam. Like,
that's true. They probably didn't even notice. Somebody probably accidentally stumbled upon it while doing something, and they're like, "Oh, we're losing money now." And Gabe's like, "Who said what now?" And then they just fucking like shut it all down.
That at Valve, like you just go work on whatever you want to work on. Like, they don't have people assigned to teams. You just go to whatever project that you decide you feel like are interested in and work on it for as long as you want to until you get bored, and then you could just go to another project. Like, apparently I was listening to a podcast, or I read an article about how like bots in Team Fortress 2 are so fucking bad, but because of that internal system at Valve.
Was that why nobody's working on it?
Nobody wants to work on Team Fortress 2. It's old. It's not exciting. They want to work on like the Steam Deck or the Index or whatever, right? So they want to work on Half-Life Alyx. They don't want to work on fucking Team Fortress 2 and fix it. So it's like this huge problem that nobody is fixing because Valve has this goofy fucking architecture where you can just do whatever you want to, man.
That explains a lot.
Because they just run a money machine.
They do.
Just prints the fucking money out. Like,
also, I have to point out this Cuphead ad.
Yeah.
Because it says breeze through the easiest game ever made. Like a fucking troll.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. In other Steam news, Steam now has, with the Steam Deck launching, tomorrow, but by the time you hear this, the Steam Deck launch will have actually happened. You can now essentially plug your entire Steam library into a tool on the website and get a kind of result of like what in your library is compatible, incompatible. Like, you can get a snapshot of like how compatible your Steam library is with the Steam Deck.
Oh, that's interesting.
Ahead of time, because they've been doing all this work, because it's verified, playable, and unsupported.
Okay.
Verified is guaranteed to like work perfectly. Unsupported is like it may work, but you might have to do some shit. Yeah. And then, playable is it may work, but you have to do some shit. Unsupported is like fully unsupported. Like Halo is unsupported.
Really?
Halo Infinite is unsupported.
That's surprising.
I don't know why. Probably something to do with some of the other bullshit that's going on, but
probably something with how it does the online for it.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. In other Steam news, this is a very weird one. You remember that horrible game Agony?
Yeah. I remember you played it with
Tony,
and you guys were so fucking bored.
Yeah. We were real bored. Real fucking bored. Apparently, there's Agony, and then there was a release with a second release with Agony that was called Agony Unrated. That like put a lot more boobs and butts and dongs and shit in it, and blood and guts and dongs. And it used to be that if you had the original Agony, then like Agony Unrated was just gifted to you in your Steam library.
Yeah.
But last week, somehow those two things have become uncoupled. So if you had Agony Unrated because you owned Agony, you no longer have that in your Steam library.
That's
because
interesting.
The connections between the two of them somehow got disconnected. So you can still now go buy Agony Unrated on its own, but you no longer have it if you have the previous one.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. The guys that made that are apparently like talking to Steam, but this is one of those like Steam is not very responsive. The quote from them says, "Unfortunately, we still don't have full knowledge on why they were delinked, and we're unable to link the games again using our own tools. So we're now in contact with Steam support to work out the solution that'll satisfy everyone." Steam, of course, being notoriously unresponsive,
Yes.
even to developers, unless you make just gajillions of dollars. So, oh no, you can't play Agony anymore.
Oh no! Oh, you didn't have your free copy of the one with tits in it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
or with dong in it actually, because the other one had tits in it. But you know what I mean.
I don't know what was in the unrated version. To be honest, I don't care.
It was more nudity, as far as I know.
Okay,
because they really wanted to be like put on the map for having like dong as fuck in this game,
right?
And then they were like, well, if it's an adult only thing, we're not really going to let you sell this anywhere.
Ryu was there, he's just hanging full brain,
just hanging dong.
Yep.
Full penetration, crime, full penetration, crime, and then it's just like that for the whole time.
Yeah. Let's see. Speaking of stuff going away and then coming back, the Bethesda is finally getting rid of their stupid fucking launcher thing.
Okay.
This is a good move.
It's a very good move.
I'm hoping that somebody at Microsoft was like, everybody fucking hates this shit. Like, just shut the fuck down. Like, I bet if you install Skyrim on Xbox, the Xbox PC Game Pass, that then when you launch it, like it has to launch that Bethesda launcher on top to log you in to find out what mods you own because they sold mods at one point.
Yeah, that's right.
In any case, Bethesda is putting all their shit back just to go launch on Steam. You don't have to go through our dumb fucking launcher that has 8 games on it.
Nope. Which
is great.
It's a great thing because it's maintenance for something they didn't really need to begin with.
Yep. So I already know the answer to this, but like, who else do we really think needs to remove this bullshit from their ecosystem?
Pretty much everyone.
Yes, that is the correct answer. But the one I want more than anything else is fucking Ubisoft with that Uplay bullshit.
Yeah, that shit's so bad.
It's so bad. The fact that everything, it's like you go to launch the game and then it's like, all right, we're launching the game. Here's your other launcher. Make sure to log in. I got pissed because Larian, I installed Baldur's Gate 3 to see how it worked on my new PC, and Larian has their own like launcher login thing, and I was like, I know EA has one, Ubisoft has one.
Rockstar's broke for a while, remember?
Oh yeah,
let them play the Grand Theft Autos,
the Grand Theft Auto remastered.
Yeah,
Rockstar's fucking sucked. So
they're real bad.
Yep. Okay, but we're not done with things going away or coming back because guess what's back, Michael?
Shady.
No.
Oh.
I mean, yes, obviously, but no, that's not what I was talking about. What I was talking about was that the native Twitch support has returned to the Xbox.
Ooh.
This was in beta. Obviously, this was... So on the original Xbox, before they started the Mixer stuff, it used to just be that you could pull up like a side panel with their panels and just start streaming directly into Twitch. And then like when they changed that to have support for Mixer, you could only stream by launching like the Twitch app on the Xbox and then like running the game through the Twitch app or something. I don't really know how it worked. All I know is that now it's fully back integrated into just like you can just open it up and start streaming like you can on the PlayStation or wherever. So
good for them.
Yeah.
I think.
Have you ever streamed off the console? Have you ever streamed at all? Have you ever streamed a game, Michael?
I've never streamed. My brother keeps trying to get me to do it, but I'm like, it's too much work.
You wouldn't stream a game, would you?
I've considered it, to be honest. It's just that, like, I don't think anyone would watch it.
Yeah.
Or would care, for that matter.
Are you kidding me? Put that shit in the Rage Select Discord. You'll get like 4 people watching. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's also a lot of work, so...
It's actually, apparently, according to this video, not all that much work if you have a headset for
what I would want to stream would be mostly like stuff that like isn't even on like newer stuff, to be honest.
Oh, well then.
I'd do a lot of Super Nintendo shit, to be honest.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't do that with that because I have a lot of Super Nintendo games that I would love to just fuck around with.
Why Super Nintendo?
Because it's just one of those things where it's like those are quick and easy. I don't have to super focus on like super dialogues and stuff.
So you're saying full playthrough Soul Cresta on your stream first thing, or what the first one?
Whatever the fuck it was called.
The other ones were called.
So many of them.
Oh my God.
I could play Maximum Carnage. I've never been able to beat that game, but I always get to the end of it. I have that game memorized like the back of my hand.
Well, there you go.
That's new.
That joke doesn't work unless people can see you look at the back of your hand first.
They didn't see it, but they know that I did it.
They know. Okay, let's see. From there, we finally got our first look at the PSVR 2.
Yes.
an in-depth look at the PSVR
It's
2.
pretty nice looking.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Apparently they have, it looks a lot like the first PSVR. They're still doing the kind of like weird headband thing.
Yeah.
And then like, which I actually think is a pretty good solution as opposed to like literally pulling a bunch of elastic straps that strap a thing to the back of your head as opposed to kind of like wearing a tight hat that drapes the VR thing over the front of your vision.
Yeah, I had to buy a separate like extension thing for mine to wear, Craig. Like,
Because your head's so big.
No, it's because the thing it comes with is not very good.
Yeah.
So I had to buy like a one that Hilario turned me on to.
Have you ever worn the PSVR? I think
I
way
wore
more
it
comfortable.
once. I wore the original one once when I was at Chris's because Chris had one for a bit until his cats destroyed it. And it was real comfortable.
Yeah, I think that the other thing is that it's going to be a lot lighter.
Oh, really?
Than the previous one. Let me see if I can find the actual spec where they talk about it.
I do like that the controllers look closer to the way a lot of the newer VR systems in general look.
That has the kind of circle on it for like detecting like finger motions and stuff.
Yeah, and it looks like it's easier to hold and doesn't have to deal with the I call them lollipops because they look like lollipops. The PlayStation Move
the
controllers.
ice cream cones. Yeah. The Johann Sebastian Joust.
Yes, exactly.
The other things they've done, they have a new IPD adjustment, where they didn't have on the first one. The headphone jacks and everything in the same place. The thing that I think is most interesting, that I had to read a whole other thing, was do you see this right here on the front?
Yeah.
This little crack is a vent to vent the heat forward out of the headset, so the headset itself doesn't heat up as badly like every other fucking VR headset does. It turns into a raging inferno full of my sweat. What a great idea! Why hasn't anybody else done this yet?
Because they're the first person to be like, "This is uncomfortable."
Yeah,
let's change this.
Yeah. Other than that, it looks pretty solid. I mean, it looks a lot like the previous one. It's all white like the controllers.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm going to need to get some D-brand panels to make mine black because I'm a fucking edgy boy from the 90s and I want all my PlayStations to be black.
That makes spray paint. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh
my God. Can you imagine how bad that would smell?
It would smell awful.
My God.
I'm thinking about it.
This is great.
Anything on price yet on it, by the way?
No. Nothing about price. Nothing about release time.
Okay, just like here's our fancy thing.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
I mean, what's the PS5 cost? 400, 500?
Is it 500?
Is it 500?
Well, depending on what you get. The disc one is 500.
Okay.
And the non-disc one is like 450 or something.
So
like that.
I would say probably 400.
That sounds right. Because that's how much the other one was, wasn't it? When it first came out?
I think the other one might have been $300 or $350. I think it depended on whether you got the bundle that had the ice cream cones.
That's true.
Or not.
Yeah.
I don't actually remember, to be honest, but I mean, I would think in the $300 to $400 range. I'm wondering though if it's going to come with a camera, right? Because
I don't think it's going to use the camera.
You don't need the camera.
You don't need the camera this time around
because it's got the internal cameras to do it. So, I would be down. I would be down for another PSVR. Like, I didn't use mine a shitload, but I use it a little bit, and I like having VR around, and I like the idea of what you could maybe do with that stuff on the new console. So
yeah, I wouldn't mind because there's a lot of VR games that are only on the console currently.
Yeah,
or at least that I would be able to play only on the console because I don't have a fancy computer.
Yeah. I still need to buy. Oculus has a fucking $100 cable that I need to buy to plug directly into the PC. I've tried streaming it over Wi-Fi and it's pretty good, but it's a little choppy.
Oh, okay.
And there's nothing worse than choppiness. So it's like they make this super cable that's like a fiber optic USB-C cable that's made to do data transfer to the Oculus Quest 2 super fast. But the cable is like $80.
Yeah.
And it's like a 13-foot long optical fiber optic cable, which I'm like, okay. I just keep buying shit. I keep buying monitors and fucking up-resin dongles and new computers and fucking all kinds of shit.
I wouldn't mind. I would love to finally just hack Beat Saber, to be honest.
Yeah.
I love Beat Saber, but there's so many like hacks that people have done to like put their own music in it.
That's true. Let's see. From there, hold on. I gotta. What are we doing here? Let's do that. From there, what are we doing? Oh yeah, speaking of PlayStation, we got PS Plus games for March, which is Ghost of Tsushima Legends, the multiplayer mode.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was free to play, to be honest, but or maybe it just came with Ghost of Tsushima.
It came with Ghost of Tsushima,
but you have to buy it. Okay. Team Sonic Racing for the PS4 and Ghost Runner for the PS5.
Oh, that's cool. I like Ghost Runner, and I'd love to try that.
Yeah, especially on the PS5.
Yeah,
you know,
that's going to look great.
Get it super fast. That was kind of interesting, but the big news was that apparently Shadow Warrior 3 is going to be on PS Now.
That's interesting.
Day one. So, but I'm having a really hard time with this, Michael, because as near as I can tell, there is no PS5 version of Shadow Warrior 3.
Really?
Like, if I go to the PlayStation Store and I look up Shadow Warrior 3, it just says PS4. Now, I don't know if that's just because they haven't updated it yet, but I was having a really hard time figuring out whether there was even... I mean, it comes out next week, right? So...
Well, the headline for the trailer says PS5 on it.
Right, but like if you go to the PlayStation Store, there's just not a PS5 version of it.
What about on the... Because you remember what happened with the King of Fighters thing?
Yeah.
It might be similar.
I mean, well, like if I search for Shadow Warrior and I go to the thing that comes up, it just has the PS4 like chevron on it. Like there's not an option to like look for the PS5 version. Maybe I'm wrong, and it's out there somewhere.
That's the thing. That's what I was thinking, because it could, like I said, it could be like what they did with where I couldn't find King of Fighters.
Oh, you have to buy it like on the store on the actual store. Here, let me look it up. I swear to God, I looked it up on the actual PC store as well.
You might be right, because I'm not finding it either. Although in the description for it says, although this game, it's one of those one that says, although this could be played on a PS5 thing.
Yeah, like it can be played on the PS5, but it's the PS4 version of it, which seems to also indicate their press release, like that it's going to be the PS4 version on PlayStation Now.
That makes sense.
But then I'm not even sure. I don't know. I need to look into this more because there's not like a PS5 version. It just has PS4 version listed even on the website. So
yeah, well, there's nothing on here that seems to indicate that it's on here.
Yeah, but
even Martha's dad has a PS5 version.
But I mean, like here the trailer. Like here on the Sony YouTube channel, the PlayStation YouTube channel says Shadow Warrior 3 full gameplay trailer PS5/PS4. So maybe it's a thing where it's just Sony's horrible putting shit on their store problems where you just can't find the thing because they didn't put it up until the day before it came out or something.
It's really frustrating that keeps happening.
Yeah,
because the King of Fighters thing was really annoying.
Yes, I agree. So, yeah, but that's interesting that we're seeing day and date new game on PS Now. This is probably the beginning of, Sony trying to go head to head with Microsoft on Game Pass. So,
yeah, this is the first out of all the characters that they could have used.
Yeah, fucking low
egg. But sure, I guess.
Yep. And that takes us to trailers because we had a gameplay trailer. I feel like it's interesting because this gameplay trailer, I feel like every trailer for Shadow Warrior I've seen so far has been in this exact same area with these kind of like weird, but then this trailer has a few different places, but this opening area, I feel like they've been showing the very similar area for a long time for Shadow Warrior 3. Now, I went and looked at that trailer that was on the other page that I was looking at, and the first thing that happened was there was some dialogue that spoiled something that I already had spoiled, but I did not want spoiled anymore for me, so I clicked off of it. I actually kind of think if you want to play Shadow Warrior and you're a fan of Shadow Warrior, don't try to stay as loose as possible about finding stuff out, because they've been kind of cavalier about this thing that's happening in Shadow Warrior 3. So,
which is interesting. But, it's probably because it's one of those game series that isn't exactly like the most beloved thing in the world.
Sure.
But it is a great series.
Yeah.
At least the newer versions of the series, at least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not the old one.
Not the old one. Yes.
But yeah, launch trailer. Looks like a fucking boatload of fun, man.
It looks like it's going to be great.
Shooting stuff and blowing stuff up and yanking things out of things. I
never played 2 still, though.
2's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I think it's on one of them. It's either on Game Pass or it's on PS Now.
I think it's on Game Pass, but I'll have to double check. I know it goes on sale a lot, 1 and 2.
Yeah. It's very weird. It's a rogue, or it's a procedurally generated.
Yeah, I remember you telling me when we did.
Very strange.
Was it a Patreon full playthrough that we did?
We did the first one.
That's what I'm saying, because I remember you mentioned it during it.
Yes,
but I couldn't remember if it was Patreon.
I think when we were playing the first one, I was playing the second one off mic. I got kind of fell into the whole of it. But let's see from there. You'd never believe it, but there's an Elden Ring launch trailer.
The deuce you say.
I do say. Ooh, here, look at this, Michael. I'm gonna make it fucking 4K 60 on a fancy monitor. Everybody can see all the pixels. You remember that shit when that Mass Effect Andromeda trailer came out and that motherfucker came out there and was like, you really need to watch this trailer in 4K.
Oh, yeah?
It was like, fuck you, man.
I remember that, yeah. Not everyone has 4K monitors, guys.
It's 2 hours and 51 minutes until Elden Ring comes out. And
it's so close, guys.
I'm super duper duper excited. Michael, what are you considering at all playing Elden Ring?
Fuck no.
No?
Not really. No,
Okay.
I don't mean that. I don't mean that as in like being mean or something. It's more just like everything I've heard about it still comes down to like, do you like Souls games? And I'm like, no. And then that's the end of the conversation.
Okay, I could see that.
Because the thing is, like, there's people who are like, well, it could be good for newcomers. Like, what everybody I've heard who's actually played it, they're like, well, it's not. It's another Souls game that just happens to be an open world. And that it's either you're going to like that or you're not. So, yeah.
I think that I don't know. I need to see what the actual difficulty level on it is like. But, like, here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to say. Here's my pitch for you. Is that, like, the difficulty level of Dark Souls 1 is vastly overrated. In fact, the difficulty... And the thing is that if you could play Dark Souls 1, which I know you can, because you played God of War, for God's sake, and that game requires more dexterity and, like, strategy than Dark Souls 1 does.
Except it's so badass.
And that, like, Dark Souls 2 is harder, but if you play Dark Souls 1, you already have the skills necessary to play Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 3 is some horse shit.
Yeah, I heard 3 is the hardest of all three.
It is. And this one is apparently difficult, but... 2 things. 1, you can summon people like you could the other games. 2, you can always go like grind now or like get more equipment or like become more powerful in the open world section before going back to the boss fights and stuff. But it definitely seems like it's going to be difficult. But I like the fact that all of this is what I've been waiting for since Dark Souls 1. Which is a new fucking game that is not tied to the horse shit of the Souls franchise.
Okay.
Like, Bloodborne, good, but it's not the same. It was just like, I wanted Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Dragon Souls. Like,
okay.
I wanted them to make another game that was not connected to all of the baggage of the previous game, like, that took what they learned and then moved all the things forward.
And then Metal Wolf Chaos 2.
And make Metal Wolf Chaos 2. Yes. But that seems to be what this is like, you know, instead of having Miyazaki write it, they've got George R.R. Martin writing it. Like, but it's still definitely full of Miyazaki-looking monsters and armors and stuff. And if it's Breath of the Wild meets Dark Souls, that's a pitch I can get behind, motherfuckers. If they're like, oh yeah, it's Breath of the Wild meets Dark Souls, except there's one level that's like Hitman, and I'm just like, stop, I can't. I gotta have the blood come out of my penis at some point.
Poor Horizon, by the way. Horizon came out a few days before Zelda Breath of the Wild came out, and now it's like a few days before this comes out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of different audiences, but
well, you know what I mean. Like, it's gonna lose its thunder very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, people really liked the Horizon Zero Dawn when it first came out, but then Zelda came out, and then people stopped talking about it, and it's gonna be the same thing that's gonna happen here.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like, it's been 6 years since Dark Souls 3 came out.
It's been a while, yeah.
You know, in that time we had Sekiro, but they've obviously been working on this for a while, and I like what I'm seeing. Also, I like the fact that they have a nice dramatic trailer. I felt like the trailers for Dark Souls 3 were not that interesting. And I think that everything I'm seeing in this is like what I liked from the old ones. Like, I like this upside down snakehead monster thing.
I was trying to figure out what was going on there.
Yeah. And
I thought something was dragging it, but no, that's literally how it stands.
Yep. like dragons and cool looking castles and fucking weird magical artifacts and all kinds of nutty baloney bullshit. And this guy hanging from the moon, I'm like, yeah, this is the kind of fucked up dark fantasy that I'm into.
Also, giant lobsters.
Also, this is a giant lobster. I love this giant lobster. I can't wait to get grabbed and stabbed by this huge crawfish. It's a crawfish, isn't it? Or lobster?
I can't tell. It's got. Well, it might be a crawfish actually.
I need to see more of the back of it.
It's got a giant claw and one small claw, so it might be a crawfish.
This whole thing with this chariot is like right out of Dark Souls 2, and I love it. I don't know. This just looks more original than anything I've seen from Software besides Bloodborne and Sekiro, which we all know why I didn't like Sekiro. But
this is going to be a game that I may try out later on in time, but it's not something that I'm on day one. Is pretty much how I feel currently.
What if I buy it for you and ask real nice?
I'm going to go with maybe still.
Real nice like.
Well, I'll have to see how my life's going to go from here.
Real
if that
nice.
makes sense to say on Mike for now.
I don't know why you do anything with your life except for play Elden Ring with me, because
I got to play Avengers, Jeff.
That's right. You got to keep the torch alive. The one guy.
I got to keep it alive.
Yes.
I'm the one guy still playing that game. Well, that's not even true now, to be honest. I haven't touched it in a while.
I love one of the things that I love about this is that for years From Software has had this problem of trying to figure out how to do pre-order bonuses, because they can't really like hide anything good behind pre-order bonuses because the community would fully revolt against them. So it's like pre-order any version and get a digital adventure guide plus a bonus gesture. And it's like, yes, garbage, nothing.
Yeah. Pre-order bonuses haven't been like super exclusive in a long time, and when they were giant pains in my ass.
Yep.
There's still pre-order bonuses to games that were never buyable after the fact to this day.
Yep. You mentioned it earlier, Michael. We also got the they already had one Attack on Titan / Call of Duty Vanguard crossover.
Did they?
Yeah, it was like the Levi outfit, like the scout
that's right,
outfit. But now they just got one that's like the Armored Titan from Attack on Titan, and like also the Armored Titan gun, and also like a watch,
a
and
bunch
like
of just Titan guns and stuff.
stuff. I think it's really weird to expect anybody to want to be the Armored Titan, considering that I'm watching the show and I know who that is, and like this is not like he's always been like he's not a good one.
No,
he's an antagonist. Like, do you want to be this antagonist guy? That
well, you a lot of people do love being the antagonist thing. The issue is that you're not a Titan. You're just you're a dude.
You're just like a regular sized guy.
And like even the way the trailer like plays out, it's like, look how cool this looks, and then it shows him fight a normal dude, and you're like, now you just look stupid next to that guy.
yeah, he's just a regular ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the fuck is happening in Call. I don't know who brokered this deal where they were like, you know what Call of Duty is missing? Attack on Titan crossovers. And it's like, what? Why?
Here's the thing.
Literally, why?
Yeah, I get the why question, but I appreciate the fact that they're willing to do the dumb shit that Fortnite's willing to do in a realistic setting.
I guess. Like, hey, you weebs, you like to fucking shit in your Fortnite, right? Like, when's what? Gambit and Rogue are in Fortnite. Nathan Drake's in Fortnite.
Yeah, both
like
the Tom Holland and the North version.
Fucking Dune Zendaya is in Fortnite.
Fucking
like
everyone, guys.
Master Chief is in Fortnite. Ryu's in Fortnite. Batman's in Fortnite. Like,
there's a lot of great memes that have come out of it though, since you can just get a character having to hold a gun.
Naruto is in Fortnite.
Yeah, one of my favorite memes was the Naruto one, because people were like, gun ninjutsu, and he does like his thing and then pulls out his gun and just shoots the guy.
Yeah. Is Dragon Ball in Fortnite?
No, not at the moment at least.
It's only a matter of time.
It is only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time. Or would you rather see Dragon Ball in Fortnite or Call of Duty?
I would rather see it in Call of Duty just to see what it looks like.
See the hair, the lovingly rendered fucking Goku hair.
I'd love to see Vegeta's running around shooting each other with AK-47s.
Shooting Armored Titans and Levi's.
Exactly. I would love to see that. And fucking John McClane and Rambo shows up.
Yeah.
And they all just start fighting each other with knives.
Saw a guy in Leatherface jump in from the side.
Exactly.
It's the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny.
Exactly. I want to see that so bad.
Oh my god, how close are we to Fortnite being the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny?
We're pretty damn close. It needs Chuck Norris to probably end Godzilla. Was Godzilla at any point there?
Yeah, like Optimus Prime, Shaq. Well, there's a lot of people that aren't in there yet. You know, Mr. Rogers, of course, for the dramatic conclusion. I like the idea that eventually when Fortnite gets really hard up, they're just like, all right, we're just doing this now. This is what's happening.
It's just the ultimate destiny.
We got an explanation trailer for the game Elex 2. I know that, Michael, you didn't watch this. I'm very fascinated by this game because apparently the first Elex game was very well received. Like, very well reviewed, very well received.
I don't even know what this is.
It's like a post-apocalyptic RPG on another planet or something, or it's like a you're on another planet and like resources are scarce and there's monsters and stuff. And apparently it's just Fallout. Like, it's just like, it's an RPG. You're talking to people, you're taking on quests. In between, it's like kind of a third-person action game. It's got like mediocre graphics.
Yeah.
Some okay designs of like the world and shadows and lighting and stuff. Like, it doesn't look terrible.
Well, it looks like a mid PS4 game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a mid,
except a little sharper.
Frame, yeah.
But like, it definitely seems like the sort. I wanted to ask a specific question. Now that you've seen this, it's like, would you play this game if the story was amazing, even if like the graphics and the gameplay were a little like?
I might, but I was never the biggest fan of these types of like Fallout-y type things to begin with.
Yeah,
but it looks decent enough that I would probably at least try it.
It's so weird though. It's just like this franchise Elex.
Well, it's
like,
the outfits and stuff, like, just sort of, they vary. Like, sometimes it looks like a medieval thing. One sequence looks like he's wearing Mass Effect type shit.
It's like Crisis.
And then he had like a bow at one point.
He's like a raider from Fallout.
It's like, what the fuck? It's like, what is this supposed to be?
Apparently those are from different factions. Like, the faction you sign up with dictates what kind of
a cowboy.
Yep, it's like it's a Fallout. That's a Fallout,
it's
right
a
there.
Fallout outfit.
He's Mr. Fallout. But yeah, apparently there's like it's just a big RPG system, and then it's got this kind of third-person action thing, and it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look like, it's not visually impressive.
No, like it's well, kind of, yeah. I think it reminds me of the way the Fallout games were.
Yeah,
because everyone's like, these games are great. They got great stories, and then you watch the gameplay of them, and you're like, this looks so. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, it's amazing. I'm like, is it though?
So I don't know. This comes out like, I don't know, like next week or something.
Which is fascinating.
Like March.
No idea.
Same day as Shadow Warrior 3.
Yeah, Tuesday.
March 1st. So I don't know. We'll take a quick shot at it. It's like THQ Nordic and then Piranha Bytes, which is one of those companies that's been around. They made like the Gothic game. Or something.
That was co-funded by the fucking European Union.
Yeah. Weird.
That's interesting.
Weird stuff. Go watch the trailer. It's a big 4-minute explainer trailer. It's okay. We also got an update for Session, the skateboarding simulator. The only one at this point.
Pretty much. The only one that's like new, at least.
Yeah. This one's on this is on a game preview on the Xbox as well as
really?
Early access on the PC. And they kind of just go over this trailer. And sometimes this trailer looks really good when it's trying to emulate what like filming somebody skating looks like.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does not look very good at all. I think that was like the second YouTube comment that was just like, why does this game look like ass? And it's like, well, this is made by an indie group, you know.
There's a sequence right there that happened that was pretty obviously like not something a real person's reactions would be.
Right. So yeah, I don't know. It looks all right. Like, I know that a lot of people who like skate will probably get into this.
They'll try it at least. It's just a lot of people who love the skate stuff. They also really like. Well, a lot of the reason that people like a lot of the Tony Hawk games is because the music is so much fun.
Yeah.
That it adds to the atmosphere of what you're doing, which is why people were so excited when the re-release of 1 and 2 had all the original music in it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be a bunch of skaters. There's going to be what seems like it might be a campaign mode, and then just some other characters. Well, that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Brawlhalla is getting a crossover with the G.I. Joe.
Yeah, Brawlhalla it's another series that keeps getting like random crossovers and stuff.
I should have put this one back on the other one. Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are now in Brawlhalla.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it's fine. But you would have to play Brawlhalla in order to play. Again, it's like, would you put these characters in a game that I want to play, not Brawlhalla?
I tried Brawlhalla and I'm like, this is fine, but it's not really for me.
Yeah.
because they put the Ninja Turtles in there at one point.
Yeah, because it's like the Smash Brothers, right?
Yeah, it's like a Smash Brothers-y type game.
Like Ubisoft's kind of answer to Smash.
And it's really popular, to be honest. It's not like it's not doing well, or else they wouldn't be getting all of these fucking crossovers.
Yeah. Well, forget about Ninja Turtles and Brawlhalla. We also had a minute long. We finally just got like a full-on, just uninterrupted gameplay sequence from the Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge that's coming out.
And it looks great.
Looks great.
I'm super excited, but they, for the life of them, will never fucking give us a release date for the fucking thing.
That's true.
It was like, it comes out this year. I'm like, when? Just tell me when.
Michael's got to know, you guys.
For the love of God, I need to know when to order pizzas.
I need to know what day to take off work and just order 1 million pizzas.
Pretty much. I'm just gonna like take off work and ask my brothers to take off work, and just that will be our day.
I've been trying to think if they got a release date, then I could start looking at it. I wanted to see whether it might be possible to get like 4 people over here to play.
You should.
The game. I don't even have 4 mics anymore. Like
I can bring the one that I have, and
that's true.
And then we can buy another one.
I think Jason has one of my old mics.
So you have the other one?
Yeah. So it'd be pretty fun. I don't know. Maybe we could play it all online, right? Maybe we could just get everybody to get online and
probably
everybody's got a microphone. I get like 2 of us here and then some other people online or something. But yeah, I mean, they still have to announce Casey Jones.
Yes, to be honest, because you're waiting on that, you can tell.
There's no fucking way that game is not going to have Casey Jones in it.
Yeah, because they have the shot at the end where it has all the guys, and it's clear there's a space.
There's a space right here
where fucking Casey's going to end up being.
Yep.
Because there's no way.
Just do it. Do it. We also got a trailer, a CG trailer for House Flipper 2. They announced House Flipper 2.
Oh my God. People really like that first one a lot, though.
Oh, fuck yeah. You and I, now that I've got a PC, Michael, we should do the thing where you get to do the Dragon Ball house, right?
Oh, that's right. That was the thing. I forgot about that.
Where you could remodel the Dragon Ball house or whatever.
Of all the things that got a Dragon Ball fucking crossover, it was fucking House Flipper.
Fucking House Flipper.
I forgot that even happened.
All pre-done. It shows a guy like listening to some voicemail and making plans and unrolling a blueprint that says House Flipper 2.
There's something that's freaking me out about these guys' arms.
Yeah, they're a little weird. 2023, apparently. Okay. So not this year, but next year, we're going to be seeing House Flipper 2.
You too can buy guns and leave them in people's living rooms.
True. You can buy that one poster that Grant and I bought, put it in every house. So, yeah. We also... This is the most oblique story. When will this die? When will it die, Michael? Dead Island 2 might be coming out in 2023.
I forgot that was a thing. Oh, my God.
Okay, so Deep Silver's parent company, Embracer Group, was on a financial Q&A, because we had a lot of those last week, where they were asked about whether Dead Island 2 is going to be a thing. And according, they said it's not been announced from the publisher, but then this is from Lars Wingefors or something, who's like the CEO or something. And he said, but we have an unannounced AAA title that you think is Dead Island 2. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
But apparently from this article, it was kind of a cheeky answer of just like, well... We can't say Dead Island 2, but like we do have this unannounced AAA title in 2023. I couldn't possibly say more about that. One of those things, I think.
Jesus Christ. This is like, it keeps reminding me of the Tekken Cross Street Fighter thing.
Oh, yeah.
People are like, is that still a thing? It's like, well, it's not canceled, but that's not an answer.
That's not the same as being worked on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Let's see. Another thing that may be coming out in 2023 is that Last of Us show. It's not going to be coming out this year.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So they're still apparently filming on it, and it won't be out until 2023 at the earliest.
I'm fine with that.
That's kind of all there is to that. Let's see. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 is going to be coming out to the PC this year. So remember last year we had the re-release of original Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
Oh, that's right.
Right before the Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance came out on Game Pass. But Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 is apparently going to be out at some point this year, the same way that the original came out. So
good for them.
Mm-hmm. And then let's see. We've got a few more things here. This I find to be really, 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 really cynical. So a few weeks back, were you on when we talked about this?
I was, yes.
So Sims 4 was putting out their wedding stories update, and they said that they were not going to be putting it out in Russia because Russia do not like the gays, and that there were the gays in there, and the Russia, they were like, so we're going to stand our ground and be moral, upstanding human beings and not put it out in Russia because we like it, the gays. Well, apparently they put out a statement saying... now after, quote, listening to the outpouring of feelings from the community, unquote, they said we've reassessed our options and realized that we can do more than we initially believed, and we will now release the Sims 4 My Wedding Stories pack to our community in Russia, unaltered and unchanged.
Okay.
So I believe this to be deeply, deeply cynical because it seems like the original statement was like, we're not going to put this out in Russia because we don't want to alter it, and we believe in gay rights, and we know that Russia does not believe in gay rights, so we will not be releasing it. And then it's like somebody in Russia was like, you can release that. We're not going to block it. We're not going to do anything. And they were like, aha. Well, after further reconsideration, we've decided that it would be wrong to deprive all of our Russian friends from this beautiful content with the gays in it, so we're releasing it. Like, I'd be willing to bet that the original story was almost certainly converting, like, we're not going to be able to do this into, like, let's score some brownie points on Twitter.
That's probably what happened
and
once
then
they found out. Yeah.
Then they got the thumbs up that they could release it, and they were like, oh, okay, well, let's totally do that because
let's just do that.
We like money more than anything, so.
Yeah, they're going to want the money. As soon as you're like, well, you could still do it, and they're like, oh, and we won't get in trouble? It's like, no.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
So
yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on with that, the game releases in different countries, but and it's tricky. You never really know what's allowed where anymore at this point.
Also, we're fucking hour and 55 minutes into this podcast. Like, there's probably more important things to worry about with Russia right now than whether the Gay Sims expansion comes out there.
Or whether or not they'll make a sequel from Russia with Love. Who knows?
Yeah.
Make more James Bond movies.
Yeah. Speaking of love and romance, apparently it has come out from that Cyberpunk 2077 1.5 update last week that some of the romance characters will send you fucking saucy pictures if you're in a relationship with them.
But that's weird, but sure.
Apparently there was the 1.5 update, and apparently one of the characters, I'm not going to say which because it's a spoiler, will like just fucking text you some saucy photos, some saucy selfies if you're in quote unquote a relationship with them.
This is going to make a great meme though, where it's like Cyberpunk when your parents walk in,
right?
Of them shooting inside.
Yes,
it's going to be just like that, guys.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
Yeah, I still stand behind my previous take that you should not play this game yet. You should wait for it to fucking be done. It is not done yet. It is at 1.0 level now, and you should wait until it is actually finished and has all of its expansions.
It works for the most part.
Yeah. Speaking of Cyberpunk futures, apparently Elon Musk wants you to be able to play Steam on your Tesla.
I feel like he said this before, though.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted something on there. It might have just been a game at the time, but I guess now he's like full on Steam.
Well, you could previously play Cuphead on it, and then like at first you could just play it whenever, and then they changed it because people were fucking turning on the like Drive for Me and then playing Cuphead.
I think Sonic the Hedgehog was something he wanted on there. I think originally was what it was.
Okay.
And then people were like, no.
Well, he recently tweeted, and so now it's like apparently you can't now engage games unless you're stopped and parked. But apparently they're looking at trying to get Steam to work for specific games on Teslas. Would you want a car that plays video games? I don't think I want a car that plays video games.
Yes and no. The reason I would want one is more like if it was like a long trip, because I used to go on long trips all the time with my family. The thing is that it would only make sense for like road trip stuff.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I used to go with my cousins to different places throughout Texas, and he had a van with a small TV in the back, and he would connect a GameCube and he just played Smash Brothers for most of the way there. So that's the only time I would be like cool with it. But like I said, that you need more than like you need somebody else to be driving for something like that to be fun.
Yeah. I think it's just too much temptation.
Nowadays, there's too much. Well, because we're adults now, and we're the ones driving,
Right?
And we wouldn't want them if we were driving. But if we were in somebody's car and then they're like, "Hey, you want to play Cuphead while I'm driving or something?" Then sure, I guess. But
Oh man,
even then, yeah.
what was that? I was looking on like Imgur or something, and so they were talking about like modern children will never know the pain of like sitting in the back seat of a car on a road trip trying to play Game Boy by the street lights when they go overhead.
Oh my God, yeah.
When you didn't have like
They'll have no idea.
another lighting kit, and you had to just like you play a little bit, like
My cousin was the rich guy who had the fucking all the lights,
the
and shit.
lamps. Yeah,
Yeah, the final form of the Game Boy that people see on the internet with all the random shit on it.
And last but not least, apparently they're making gamer sake in Japan now.
I have no qualms with this.
This is a specific thing, a startup making sake products called Challenge Blue and Have Fun Red that were built specifically to be like, so we've got our gamer grub, we've got our G Fuels, now you've got your gamer booze.
I'm surprised no one has done this yet,
Yep,
to be honest.
yep. It's just regular sake, but it's been, it's like a little micro company that's trying to get more eyes on.
I think the closest we've gotten here in America is that Mountain Dew Baja Blast fucking thing they decided to do.
Oh yeah, the alcoholic Mountain Dew. Why? It's a recipe that's like Four Loko, man. That's like
is.
we made Four Loko illegal because of that shit. Like, what are you talking about? Mountain Dew has too much caffeine to be mixing with booze.
Maybe they changed it. I don't know.
Or I don't know. I can't
Shit's
do it anymore.
insane.
All right. Well, that's everything that I've got. But Michael, should we do one question before we leave?
Yeah, do we have time?
We have a time. I overestimated before. It's still 2 hours and 25 minutes and 57 seconds until Elden Ring comes out. What am I going to do for 2 hours and 25 minutes and 51 seconds outside of read questions?
Let's go super far back because it's been a long time.
October of 2021 on the Discord server.
Christ.
Dear Jeff and Michael, says Professor Fett, I was wondering what things has the internet hyped up that you just didn't get. Not necessarily hated, but just didn't understand the love. Mine is Squid Game. I don't hate the show, but it wasn't for me, and the internet lost their monkey minds about the thing. Thanks for keeping the podcast going. It makes the highway drive that bit more bearable.
There was a lot of stuff for a while that was like that, but the reason the issue is that like once I realized it wasn't for me, I just forgot what it was.
Yeah.
Because I remember the internet every now and then would be like, "This is the greatest thing ever," and then you finally look at it and you're like, "This isn't all that interesting."
Or you're like, what? Why? I mean, I've got mine, obviously, but it's because these days everybody keeps trying to shove thing. Well, it's because the internet has gotten into the very bad habit of trying to argue with you when you say you do not care for a thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's my opinion. And it's like, but your opinion is wrong. Like, let's not get too down to Kingdom Hearts road because...
Yeah, that is one. Well, that one I originally got until Kingdom Hearts went fucking like completely insanely hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Because I played the first Kingdom Hearts when that came out. And I really liked that. And then 2, I was like, this is fine. And then it just went batshit insane after that.
I'm trying to think like movies or TV shows because I think everybody knows which games Jeff likes and which games Jeff don't like. So
Well, people keep bringing up Euphoria, and
damn it, I meant to ask Amanda today what the fuck that show's about.
I don't know what it's about
Because
to
they
be
keep
honest.
showing
but
they keep showing me trailers for it on YouTube that make it look like that Ryan Johnson movie Brick. And if it's Brick, I'll watch it. But if it's just like teenagers doing drugs and then having dramas, I don't want to watch that.
For the most part,
Like,
I hear that's kind of what it is, though. But I don't know enough about. But apparently, it's smartly done. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like it's a lot of shows. It's not that I don't get them; it's just that I don't feel like I should add more to my plate. Like that's one of those. Succession, everybody really got into recently.
True.
Because I remember when Succession first started, people were like, "This is stupid. No one's gonna like this." And then all of a sudden, the past year, everyone's like, "Succession's amazing." I'm like, "What the fuck were you guys earlier?"
Yeah.
When this thing first came out. The same with I haven't even seen Ted Lasso still. I haven't seen that yet.
You know what I refuse to watch? Mad Men.
Mad Men, yeah, actually, Mad Men's a good answer. The Office is another one that I'm like, I kind of get it, but not as much as everyone fucking loves it.
I don't. I will not watch Mad Men because I believe that advertising executives I'm kind of with Bill Hicks on the whole advertising executives thing. It's like a person whose entire job is to trick you into wanting something that you do not need for stupid reasons. And I'm like, I refuse to get involved with whatever. It may be a very good show. I'm not saying it's not, but on moral grounds, I just refuse to be part of a thing that glorifies in any way, shape, or form advertising executives, or even makes them relatable or humans. I'm happy hating them as like Terminator monsters from the future.
No,
so.
I get that. Game of Thrones is definitely one that I was like, as it was going, I was like, I don't get it. I kept trying, and I'm like, I don't get this.
I'll tell you one. Predators.
Predators?
Yeah.
Oh, the Robert Rodriguez one?
The Adrian Brody.
Okay.
Yeah. People like that movie. I was just like, this
really
is
do.
dog shit, man. Like, it's just the same fucking movie. Like, hey, look, Michael, the Predators are hunting a bunch of people. And the people, they're fighting back against the Predators. And it's like, that's every Predator one, man.
It really is.
Like,
But, yeah, there's some other stuff on it. Like, there's some memes that I don't get still.
yeah.
That come up every now and then, but I'm sure some of them have already gotten out of,
Like
out
what?
of style. The Orb.
Oh, yeah. Pondering the Orb.
Pondering the Orb.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's just kind of weird.
You know what I mean? I like those. I like the fact that we're still generating Seinfeld memes with the Kramer's
Yeah.
apartment.
I do like the
thing.
Seinfeld
I like
one.
the Kramer's apartment one.
There were some that were just fucking insane for like years. I remember there was some where it was just like Markiplier's face on somebody's body and just said E on it, and I'm like, I don't fucking understand why this is a thing.
Have you seen the Goots?
The Goots?
The Goots meme? I don't know if this is true or not because they say this all the time that it was like made by the it was like the way it was posted was like we ran all the memes on the internet through this AI and then asked it to generate a new meme, and this is what we got out of it. And it's just this picture of a really fat goose with GOOTS
Yes,
underneath
okay.
it.
This is a great
Goots.
example. This is a great example of what I mean.
Yeah.
This Big Chungus is another one that I don't fucking get.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, because
It's-
people are like, Big Chungus, isn't it funny? I'm like, it's like, as a giant Bugs Bunny nerd, I'm like, it's Bugs Bunny making fun of Elmer Fudd. Like, where did this become funny to you guys all of a sudden out
Yeah.
of context?
You got to get on Imgur.
I don't get it. There's a lot of memes like that pop up every now and then. That's just something that's fat or something, and they're like, "Isn't that hysterical?" And I'm like, "What? I don't understand."
This is the internet, man. Just forget it, Jake. It's the internet.
Yeah.
Like,
There is one show that was hyped, and I'm like, okay, I understand why you guys really like this, which is Smiling Friends, which
Oh,
is
yeah, I
Adult
haven't-
Swim's new show.
I've heard about that, but I haven't watched it.
I think it's the best thing Adult Swim's done in a while of their weird comedy stuff, and it's got a bunch of like internet like people that are like,
Well, it was made by
kinda
like
big.
two YouTubers, right?
yeah, like in fact, the first episode has Mike from Red Letter Media as one of the characters.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I tell you I went out to Amazon and purchased Space Cop.
Really?
And watched it because I was like, you know what? Red Letter Media has given me a shitload of free entertainment
They
over the
have.
years.
So much of
And
it.
I watched all of it, and I was like, I'm gonna buy Space Cop, and I'm gonna watch Space Cop. Space Cop is kind of stupid, but it's fine. Like
They admit that though is the thing. I love how every time they talk about it, they're like, "No, it was stupid."
Yeah. Like it's got a few good gags in it, but just the idea that Rich Evans is from the future and he's stuck in the past, and like his only in the future all space cops do is blow shit up, and so he just wants to blow stuff up, and then Mike gets unfrozen from a cryogenics lab as a cop from like the 70s, and he's just like, what do you mean you can't smoke in the building? It's just his whole shtick along with Rich Evans doing this Rich Evans, the tough guy Rich Evans. It's so silly and
I kind of
fun.
want to see that. I've never seen it. I've heard like I've just heard that it's dubbed, but they
Yeah.
like I said, they fully admit that.
I went out one day and I was like, is this on YouTube? You guys keep talking about it. Is it on YouTube? And then it was like, no, it's not on YouTube. You have to pay $5 on Amazon. And I was like, okay, have my $5, Red Letter Media. You have earned it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the internet that I definitely, if you guys reminded me of, I would be like, that didn't make any sense to me. A lot of them tend to be meme based.
Yeah.
Some of them I do get over time, and some of them I'm just like TikToks. I understand TikToks, but that's because they're just Vines again. You reinvented Vines is what a TikTok is.
I will not do that because I've heard very explicitly that like the TikTok algorithm is very invasive and very it is built to keep you watching these teeny tiny videos just over and over and over and to just capture your attention and never let it go. It's like a machine made to get your attention. Like I am starting to get to a point where I don't even watch that much YouTube anymore because I've got the 12 channels I want to watch, and I'm not interested in trying anything else out.
Well, that's the thing about TikTok is that, like, from the get-go, I knew it was going to be, like, this weird fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, they reinvented Vines is all they did. Like, when Vine went down, people had stopped having the small bits of entertainment they could get from that. And then TikTok just reinvented it, and people were like, it's the newest thing. I'm like, it's just Vine again. You just reinvented Vine, except now it's controlled by the Chinese.
Hey, at least it wasn't Quibi, all right?
Yeah, at least it wasn't Quibi. Fucking Quibi. What a terrible fucking idea that was.
Woo! We're going out on Quibi this week, everybody. Michael, tell the fine people where they can find you when you're not over here.
You can find me on oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie and television reviews that don't involve Quibi.
Quibi exclusives, and a few Quibi exclusives.
Exactly. I wonder what happened to some of those Quibi exclusives.
Platform that doesn't even exist
anymore. I know some of the Reno ones ended up on some stuff. I think it's on Roku.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a review on Uncharted. Should be a review for Cuphead soon if it isn't already up.
Cool.
And as well as the one for the crossover event that came out not that long ago.
That's that as well. And that's it. It's only 2 hours and 16 minutes and 48 seconds until Elden Ring comes out. So now I'm just going to sit around and vibrate and scream, go faster at the screen until it happens. And I'm sure that'll make things go a lot faster. I'm sure it'll make it go way, way faster. Come on!